All right. What's up, everybody? How you doing out there? Welcome back to the show. This is last week's fights. My name is Thinker St. James, and tonight this is a very special presentation of last week's fights. Tonight is the state of the UFC rankings. Myself and my co-host are going to be going over each and every division in the UFC, giving our thoughts on where everything lies in these divisions going into this new year of 2026 that we are currently in. To do that alongside me, the man, the myth, the legend, you know him, you love him, the pound for pound number one co-host on the planet, Mr. Chase Parton. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Obviously, we are still in this drought of fights. And, it started out as, a little bit of less of a fights. And then we had a couple drizzle here and there. And then now we are legit out of live fights. And it's kind of brutal right now, guys. But hey, we're coming in with the hits right now. So just be sure to tap in because these are really, really good videos that we're coming out with. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. It's MMA winter, as I call it. It's cold out there. We're a little bit chilly. No fights to warm us up, but we are still coming through, trying to talk about all of this stuff, give you the information, and informing you into what we're going to be seeing in the coming time when we do have fights. It's going to be here sooner than you think. This time that we're in this little drought, it goes by quicker than it feels, even though in the moment it's taken a while. But we're here to talk about all of the divisions and what you're going to be seeing with that, because there was a lot of movement in all of these divisions over the course of 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just really excited to get into a big discussion about what's going to go forward in 2026 for a lot of these people. Honestly, there's a little bit that we have to, reach back and, gather in 2025. But for the most part, 2025 is over. We're heading into 2026 with all of these good opinions, and we're going to let you guys know what the deal is because I'm telling you, there's going to be some shakeups coming. As of every year, of course, there's going to be some shakeups.
Well, and in addition to shaking up the rankings, Chase, I think that but just before this stream started, you told me that you might be shaking up your dietary habits. Is this correct?
Absolutely. I'm not going to 100% say it, but I'm going to look into it a little more. If you load up this page right now, the UFC Rankings website, you will see at the bottom of your screen a red banner. No, not the one that says youtube.com/. Yama Show and CP Smalls, but you should also look into those ones. But there is a big red banner on the bottom of the screen that is, it says your first win of 2026 starts here, and then it is a link to the UFC Ignite program. And what this is, of course, this is the competitor to what you would say your home chef or and DoorDash could be another competitor too.
Or like
These
like
are
a
all
like a factor, or if one of
yeah,
those
there
kind
you
of
go.
things. Yeah,
Blue Apron, I think, is another one. There we go.
Well, no, but those ones are like actually that you have to make. Well, I guess that's the question here. These are like pre-made already, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think in technicality, they're all the same thing. Like you could just put them all in one thing and just heat them up in a microwave. But like in theory, yeah, you would make this like its own. I would say you would get all the ingredients and then you would make them all individually, and then you would have
Well,
your meal.
that's the question though, because I there are some where it's the entire thing. You just put it into the microwave as is, and then there are other ones that's like a meal prep package, like that
Hmm.
you prepare it yourself. I think that these ones are literally just you get it and it comes as is. You pop that right in the microwave and you're good to go. I
Well,
think I don't know for sure.
I just want to put this into perspective, and we're not going to harp too much on it. I mean, this 50% off sponsorship or this coupon that you would get, excuse me, it is going to bring this first week's price down to what I paid for the entirety of Paramount for 9 months. So just keep that into perspective. I know $30 for your first box is not necessarily crazy, but $60 a week, listen, that's for the smallest portions amount. I know not everybody's swimming in dough around here, Scrooge McDuck, whatever that dude's name is, but it can get pricey. So just be aware, but this might be a good thing. The UFC, they're reaching their hands into other markets and they're trying to get a little more, I don't even know the word, but like they're trying to just expand the market. They're not just a fight promotion. Like imagine if you saw a branded thing, like there was just an NBA restaurant, like it was just NBA. Like it was just called the NBA. Like it just feels weird that the promotion is like behind this. It's not Ignite sponsored by UFC. It's UFC's Ignite. It's like that's the program. It's like the
Yeah,
PI came up with it or something.
and I was gonna say that I think that that was the initial selling point is that these are chef inspired meals that are from the chefs of the PI. So the nutritional team that takes care of the fighters. I think that these are some of the meals that they would be making for them. To illustrate that, I think Bleeding Edge says it 100% correctly. Now you too can eat like a 12K to show and 12K to win UFC fighter. I love it.
Now, Bleeding Edge actually cooked even more with his next one, the official prison meal of the UFC. I mean, listen, guys, what can you do for a meal that gets sent to your door and you get to pop it in whatever device you have and it comes out hot and you can eat it? The UFC is trying to venture new things, but the thing is they must be very confident because they must, in their mind, have this business model down. Dana White, does he, when it comes to things like this, the UFC, the conglomerate, it's not just Dana White, it's, everybody at the UFC, do they know something that we don't know about the delivery service, that there's a market that they're not meeting? Like what's the deal here? Is there going to be fighters from around the world who just spring out because now this delivery service can reach every continent? Like, I don't know.
These are the questions, I suppose. But I don't know. I mean, it's interesting that this is a tactic that they're trying. It reminds me a little bit of Hulk Hogan when he had the Hulk Hogan fucking pasta mania back in the day, kind of thing.
May he
It's
rest in peace, by the
of
way.
course, R.I.P. to the legend always. But yeah, it's certainly something unique that they're trying out here. And yeah, I mean, you did say that you might be partaking there, Chase. So if you do, you got to keep us informed as to what we can be expecting from this.
Well, I just think it would be so not surprising if in the next coming times, there's a guy who comes up on the Contender Series. He's in his promo package and he's like, dude, I was in the places where, I couldn't get to a meal all the time, but I had $30. I had $60 a week and I got my UFC prep program. I split them in half, and I had 4 meals became 8 meals, and I became a UFC fighter off the UFC Ignite program. I can see it right now. It's written in the stars, by the way.
Yeah,
So
right. The promos write themselves. So anyway, well, that's enough free promo for this UFC
true.
Ignite. Of course, UFC Ignite. If you want to sponsor last week's fight, you know where to get in touch with your boys.
I'm officially the first of 2026 to put you guys on. So
Very true. Very true. Well, let's put on for the chat right now because we got a
yeah,
bunch of people in here already checking in. Of course, we appreciate each and every one of you. Shouting out, of course, Bleeding Edge, this is his first time in the chat for the last week's fight. So shout out to you, sir. Meat Rocket, Michael, the Silent Assassin, checking in. Beeb, always the GOAT. CTE, TJF. The gang is all here. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And of course, Hydra picking up the end as well.
foot wine and the UFC frozen meal, eating like a king. Honestly, I sit on my piles of riches over here with my UFC meal in one hand, out of my toaster oven, and my foot wine out of my cellar. Yes,
There kings come in many forms. That's what I
true.
would say to that. So, well, let's talk about some kings of our sport here. I mean, we are talking about the rankings today. As we said in the intro, a lot of changes over the 2025 fighting season, if you want to refer to it that way. A lot of movement, a lot of people who are in positions that they were not in before, vacations a lot last year. We talked about that on the wrap up show on the free for all a couple weeks ago there. So, a couple of different things going on here, and we're just going to go through these one by one, starting with the men's pound for pound top rankings here. Of course, at the number 1 slot, Islam Makhachev. Number 2, Ilia Topuria. Number 3, Hamzat Chimaev. Number 4, Alex Pereira. Number 5, Alexander Volkanovski. Number 6, Piotr Jan. Number 7, Merab Dvalishvili. Number 8, Tom Aspinall. Number 9, Alexandre Pantoja. Number 10, Max Holloway. Number 11, Dricus du Plessis. Number 12, Joshua Van. Number 13, Magomed Ankalaev. Number 14, Jack Della Maddalena. And number 15, Arman Sarukian. Wild that is the case there. So that being read out, Chase, these are our current pound for pound best of the male fighters in this sport. What are you thinking about these?
Well, you definitely, obviously you stopped on one name, and we're gonna get to that because I was
Sure.
making faces before that. So we'll talk about it. So obviously Islam being number one, that's fine, no doubt. Ilya being number two, fine, no doubt. I mean, They listen. We should have seen the fight, but either way,
Well, let me just
go
ask
ahead.
one question. Like, just Islam for me, just for my opinion, Islam, perfect sense. I've been saying that Islam is the number one pound for pound forever, it feels like. But number two, Ilya, how does all of what he's going through, his vacation, his time away from the sport, do you think that we're going to see that change sooner than later because of things like this?
No, because at the end of his career, he's gonna say that I rode the pound for pound rankings for 32 years or whatever the fuck it is, however many years he's in this fucking courtroom or whatever, and it's just gonna boost his fucking record. But either way,
Oh, you think it's
I
an aura maxing of that?
I mean, listen, they're not gonna just remove Ilya from the pound for pound rankings. It's Ilya fucking Taporia, like I
Of
don't know.
course, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they would remove him, but I don't, just the inactivity of being away from the sport, things shift.
You get to a great point. People are already talking about how Shamaev at 3 is criminal because he never fights. So
Goes right into the exact thing I was just talking about. Exactly. I mean, the fact that Chimaev gets the belt and is immediately injured or immediately not going to be fighting, as we all anticipated. You go back to the episodes that we were talking about him before he got the belt. This was the exact conversation we were having months ago, it feels like.
and you just go down the list, and some other ones, obviously
Yeah.
Hamza. It's rightful that he should be high. And third, he did have a dominant performance against the champ, but when you're supposed to factor in, I mean, I guess if activity is not something that comes up on the numbers here, I mean, I guess I can understand it, but he is definitely one of the top pound for pound fighters. So third, I guess doesn't it's not that crazy to me, honestly. I mean, listen, I can't really argue too much. I mean, DDP was one of the. Go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that what I think something to keep in mind in general is that, like, sometimes when it comes to the actual number that you're seeing at the moment, that's why we do it like where we're at right now, going into the new quote unquote season or the new year of fighting, because Hamza Chimaev, even with now being away, you got to factor in the circumstances as to why he is number three. Because, like, you think about Alex Pereira, like that to me is the immediate next thing. Alex Pereira under Hamza Chimaev, based on all of what he's done versus Hamzat just getting the belt. But you know that Alex had lost, and then, you know what I'm saying? And now Hamzat had the dominant victory. He's away now, but like it just shakes out the way that it does sometimes because of where we're at time wise. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you weren't really interrupting me. I mean, I was gonna ramble about how good DDP is, and he's still on the pound for pound rankings here, but he fell a lot, and he was definitely high enough that Hamzat upsetting him in the way that he did is deserving of a high pound for pound ranking. But you are kind of spitting facts. Alex Pereira, come on, guys, this dude, just because he lost his belt, injured, of course, and then gets it back emphatically, like he should totally be, in my opinion. Maybe even over Ilya. I mean, come on, like Alex is literally one of the. He's a Hall of Famer. I know Ilya is too, but like Alex had a Hall of Fame year in 2025. And
Oh,
so
no, absolutely. I mean, like, you're absolutely correct about him being a Hall of Famer. I think that's undeniable. I had been saying for quite some time earlier, if you go back to some of the old Yama episodes, I was like, there is palpable reasons and I think a very good argument for him to be on the GOAT list, period, in the sport. I mean, like, what this man has accomplished in the short amount of time that he's been in it, over the competition that he's faced. I don't need to go back through all of his credentials, of course, and obviously the Magomed Ankalaev loss does kind of, change it just a little bit, but at the same time, like, I think that when you say something, it's a little bit of a spicy takeover over Ilya, but I think that there is definitely grounds for it.
and then when you go further down the list, this is an ongoing pound for pound rankings, and see, this is where the activity thing gets into muddy waters, because then you go down the list to somebody like Alexander Volkanovski. He had one fight early on in the year, was supposed to fight at the second half of the year, didn't end up doing that. Now he's supposed to fight in 2026. But like the one performance against Diego Lopez, would you say that's worthy of a 5 pound for pound kind of deal as current day?
They see, there you go, and that's why the pound for pound is very interesting in that regard. We're talking cumulatively, then yeah, I mean, Volk is absolutely pound for pound in the broader sense. But if we're talking coming off of all of the current dynamics, yeah, you make an interesting case there as a single victory, and now running. I mean, we don't have to rehash how weird it is that they're even running that back, and that's going to be starting off all of our fireworks here. But it's strange, based on everything else that's where it's all shaking out. But yeah, Volk, I mean, it is kind of 5 does seem a little bit high only currently, but again, cumulatively speaking, goatless conversation here, you know?
Yeah, I know, because, like, again, what is this list based off of? Because when you look at Volk and you look at Diego Lopez, again, I'm just gonna bring this up specifically. It was 2-2 going into the 5th. Where's Diego Lopez rank on this fucking list, guys? Let me know. If Volk is 5th, Armin Sarukian, Jack Della, listen, Diego Lopez might as well be the champ here in about a fucking month or two. Like, give me a break. Like,
I had it 3-1, but anyway. All right. Yes, no, okay. So yeah, I mean, you're definitely cooking with what you just said about. I mean, like I think I saw it earlier in the chat. Armin on this list at all is just a wild thing. Magomed Ankalaev, we haven't heard from. I mean, talk about some of these fighters. Magomed Ankalaev took the Taliesin Teixeira go into a hole and hide method after he lost. Man, we have not heard from that guy in months. It feels like.
what another problem with this list
Yeah.
is that all of the current champs have to be on the pound for pound list, right? I mean, all the divisions have to have a pound for pound guy. So obviously he has to end up in the top rankings of the pound for pound list. So and then when that person loses their belt, like Jack Della Maddalena, for instance, he ends up on the pound for pound list just because he was the champ, and obviously he has to be there, and then he loses the belt, so he has to drop on the pound for pound list. But is Jack Della per se one of the pound for pound? Like, I think he's very skillful. I think he's one of the top people, but like, Islam smoked him. I mean, we're gonna have to see how he competes against other top people in the division. I mean, it, same. I don't know. Armin again. How the hell did he even end up here? I don't know. But like, yeah, there's just a lot of things. I don't know. Ankh. I don't know. Where do I even? I just can't for a second. Go ahead. Give me a moment.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, one thing that's jumping out to me is, Pantoja being so far ahead of Josh Van. It makes sense, of course. It's interesting based on exactly what you were just saying. Now, how does the dynamic of the win is very odd for Josh Van. He's on the list. I mean, really, that plays right into what you were talking about, he is the champ. He has to be on this list. But at the same time, it's hard to feel that, you know what I mean? It's hard to feel like, oh, that's a pound for pound best fighter in the world. I mean, I know that you already would. And a lot of people I think who see him fight would, but it's like based on the dynamics, it's hard. This is again, one of the main reasons we want to do like this type of a show is to like go over these for exactly what we're talking about, because you see this list and all of what goes into it kind of, you have to look at it from a lot of different perspectives to like really feel if these are correct or not,
Yeah, and the chat is making good points, and like I think this is why the conversation needs to be had, because I don't, when it comes to somebody like Jack Della, like I don't, necessarily agree that he shouldn't be on the pound for pound list. But the fact is, he ended up here because he was the champ. He fucking might as well have. But what was? Does anybody know in the chat what his pound for pound rank is before Islam took the belt? If he was close to the top, I mean that's very very good for him. But uh, I don't know. There's just a lot of things that go into it. Armin for sure is kind of crazy to be on there. And we obviously haven't talked about the elephant in the room, the one that you stood out to most, Max Holloway being on here. It kind of makes sense to me because, Hall of Fame Max, he's down anytime, anywhere. He's stepped up multiple different occasions. He's had the belt before. He's riding off of a credentialed career. So again, what goes into is this a current day Max who just got, not, is that the performance that gets him on the pound for pound list? Is him getting finished by Ilya? Like, it's just, a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
very much so. I mean, and I kind of made a little bit of a subtle comment on that as I was reading it. That's me talking about my favorite fighter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Max Holloway is he's my absolute favorite, but even I have to acknowledge that, being on the pound for pound at number 10, this is top 10 pound for pound right now, based on what we have seen recently. Yeah, it's hard to justify a little bit sometimes.
And of course, I'm not going to spaz too hard about it, but yes, the one that I made a face about,
I
Tom
knew, I
Aspinall.
knew.
Like,
Yeah, I was leading up to that. True, chat beat me to it.
yeah, so Tom Aspinall ends up on this list after, waiting for John Jones. And again, this is not anything that he could be doing. This is not his doing. That's
Did not
nothing that he can
wait.
control.
But it's a false framing of it.
I mean, he was waiting for the contract to be signed. This contract never got signed. They did not, and like
But he still fought though.
it was a waiting process after that, though.
I mean, yeah, okay, like semantics. All right, go ahead.
But so Tom Aspinall, up until now, the fight that we've seen him in 2025, ended in an eye poke after he got punched in the face and his nose bloodied. That is the fact of the matter. To end up in eighth pound for pound rankings. I mean, it is a little. It is a little. What's the word? I mean, him and Pantoja ending up right near each other. I mean, I guess that kind of adds up. They champions ended up in a weird event that ended their fight. Sure, that makes sense for them to be near each other. But I don't know. This
Well,
is just weird. There's just too many questions. I don't know.
Well, the question that I would have to counter the thought process is what, like, who would make more sense though? You know what I mean? Like, these are really, I mean, basically, like, I think that maybe there might be one or two people that you could possibly say slot them in, but like overall, these are the best fighters in a general sense, right? I mean, even
Where's
with the
Kamaru
circumstance.
Usman?
I mean, yeah,
Arman
inactivity.
Sarukian, Kamaru Usman. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there you go. Good argument there. I mean, inactivity takes him off the list, perhaps. I mean, yeah, right. That would be the only reason that you could think of. But then the win, because yeah, I mean, he didn't. When did he fought in? Oh gosh, when was the last time that he actually fought? Was Buckley the last fight?
Hmm.
So I mean, that's going back. He didn't fight at all in 2025. No,
No, that was in 2025.
the Buckley. Oh yes, that was. I'm sorry. I was thinking of a different Buckley fight. Okay, yeah,
No,
yeah, that's true. You're right.
and obviously, again, Arman Sarukian being 15th pound for pound, mate, he's not even fighting for the belt in his weight class right now. And they just, he's an interim title shot going around, and he's not even on the list of the guys to get it. I know it's obviously politics and semantics, but if you want to break it down for what actually defines being on the pound for pound list, Justin Gaethje is about to get the fucking belt, and he better end up being on the pound for pound list. And if and that's the craziest thing that I was saying is just because you're the champ, you have to end up on this list. So Justin Gaethje not being on the list right now, and Paddy Pimblett, and therefore one of them wins, they end up on this list and push Armin off, or Jack Della off.
Sure.
In any instance, they jump high enough on the rankings that it matters. So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Well,
crazy.
yeah, I mean, and that's why it's really just a snapshot of the current era mixed with the credentials of each fighter. It's an interesting dynamic in the pound for pound, just in general. I think it was Hydra earlier just saying, like, what does pound for pound even mean? Well, that's really what it comes down to. That's what it boils down to. It's a pairing of the current state of the fighter and their credentialed history together, overlapping, and all of the dynamics that lead up to where they currently are. And that's, I think, really, like, if you go through the history of each of these guys, some of them can be debatable as to where you would put them personally and all of that, but there is a little bit of logic in there, even if there's a little bit of wiggle room as far as like where you would want things to be changed.
Yeah, and after we had the whole discussion about it, I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like the talking points that I've had
Mm,
weren't as good as they could be, because I think they actually did a pretty solid job on this list. Now that I've talked it over, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that I didn't have the greatest opinions of why it could be this way or what should be better, because as you've said, who are going to be the other people that would be on this list? We see, I could do it individual weight classes. Of course, I'm going to bring up some names that should be on this ranking, but like this right here, I made a great point about Diego Lopez, in my opinion.
sure.
In my opinion, it was 2-2 going into the fifth. That's probably why they did the rematch, dude. It was 2-2, whatever you want to say. But where does he end up on this list? It was a very close matchup. You could do that with anybody, of course. Max, he got to round two with Ilya, right?
Well,
Sure.
and that
I
would
guess he ends up there.
and that's why it would be interesting to, like, I wish that there was like some, maybe there is something out there. I'd have to look into it, but some like tracker of like where people, the progression of this, because like to me it would make sense that at some point Diego Lopez was on the list for that exact reason. Again, like you said, if Armin is on this list, then Diego Lopez at some point based on that fight should absolutely have been on this list. So,
Hmm.
and probably will be back on this list depending on how he fights against Volk in the rematch. So, there are certainly dynamics that always go into this. Of course, this is updated, per event and everything. So we will see how things shake out going forward. But yeah, I kind of do agree that, like, in the big picture, if you break down all of the factors, this is not a bad representation of the best of the sport currently, I would say.
True. Yeah. If anything, you could shift people one or two, and that's about it.
Shift Max a couple more than one or two, perhaps. But
Well,
again, coming from a huge fan here, so I mean, but you take the history as well. Arguments to be made. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I just don't think it would be. I don't know, legacy wise, if Max wasn't on the pound for pound list, it would just be weird because truly he's been doing it at the top of the game for over a decade now. You
Sure.
can't deny that he hasn't. It's not like he was there and then now he's not, and it's like why is he still there? It's like oh well, he's still at the top of his game. He's whatever you want to say. He died to Ilya, but like everybody does. So
He's not even that old. That's
I
the
know
craziest part of him
32 years
too.
old, three maybe.
Yeah, insane, insane. So yeah, there you go. We talked into a good reason why he's on there.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. So that is the pound for pound top rankings currently. Let's start off with the flyweight division here, going individual division by division. This is men's flyweight, of course. Joshua Van is your champion. Number 1 is Alexandre Pantoja. Number 2 is Manel Kopp, who just moved up 4 slots based on his recent victory at the end of the year. Number 3 is Tatsuro Taira. Number 4, Brendan Royval, down 2 slots. Number 5 is Brendan Moreno, down a slot. Number 6 is Amir Albazi, also down a slot. Number 7, Asu Almabayev. Number 8, Kyoji Horiguchi. Love to see that. Number 9, Tim Elliott. Number 10, Steve Urseg. Number 11, Alex Perez. Number 12, Tagir Ulanbekov. Number 13, Charles Johnson. Number 14, Bruno Silva. And number 15, Lanier Kavanaugh.
This is a really funny list. I just want
Is
to.
it?
It kind of is because when you look at Lonnie, who's number 15, coming off of just getting completely obliterated by an
Brutal.
unranked opponent at the time, Charles Johnson is now rightfully ranked, kind
Yes.
of, even though he knocked out the current champ also into oblivion. Like it's just
Crazy to think about that.
yeah, so, and then you obviously you just talk about the inactivity of a lot of people. So you have Tagir Ulanbekov, who not necessarily the most inactive in 2025, but boy, did he suck in 2025. Like we saw
Facts.
how bad he really can be. And then he skated away with wins too. That's the craziest part. But actually, I think he lost the second one, right? It was against Horiguchi.
Oh yeah, that was him, right? Yeah. I think was it. I think
I
so.
think so. I think so. But either way, he's terrible. Okay, anyway, Alex Perez. I mean, he got yeah, no. I mean, I like him a little more after what I saw in his last fight, but again, got submitted in the third round by, a very tight guillotine, standing guillotine. Crazy. Actually it really wasn't standing. I mean, he was standing. You get it. Either way, then you
And
go
then Cubs still coming off of a loss before that too.
exactly to like a technical submission move to fucking Tatsuro Taira. Like that
Right.
bummed his knee out. Anyway,
Yeah.
and then you go up one more, Steve Urseg. We all know that's over. I mean, I know he went to war with Ode Osborne or whatever that was, but guys, the dream is sailed. I mean, if he's going to war with Ode Osborne in 3 rounds, the ceiling it's gone. Like I don't know how did he. They had the glass ceiling, right? But he was on the glass, and then he fell down to the actual the floor. I don't know what happened with Steve, but it is crazy that he is still 10th ranked. And then again, you go up one more, and this is where I think the funniness kind of ends. But then you have Tim Elliott, who just shows up randomly once every so often and just beats a really hot prospect and just smokes him. So, what can you say, really?
Yeah, no, I mean that really is kind of the oddness of the list is like right in that like 8, 9, 10 range. Cause yeah, Kyoji Horiguchi, you want to talk about coming out of
Yeah.
the blue. I mean, this dude just swooped in. Kyoji Horiguchi being on this list, like I said, I love this because it's so crazy to see a guy essentially jet setting all over the world, fighting in this promotion, that promotion, just hopping all over the place, comes back to the UFC and slots himself right into the rankings off of his first fight back. That is a crazy thing to see.
Yeah, I do kind of respect it in a way. I don't know if I would say it was, a lot of people say bet on yourself, you'll feel better in the end. I don't know if this was necessarily a betting on himself type of thing or bouncing around was just the circumstances that had to be, but I'm sure he got to experience a lot of different times in front of like his friends and family because of this, back in his home region. But with the UFC and him coming out here and getting a big win against Tagir Ulanbekov, I mean, I do dig it. I kind of think he's down for it. So I would like to see him, get another momentum building fight. I mean, Japan versus Japan in Japan. Is that what it would be? Is Horiguchi Japanese? Am I wrong about this?
Oh
Either way,
yeah, he's Japanese.
so him versus Tyra in Japan, I think is exactly the path that needs to happen because that would jump him right into the title picture. But also Tyra can put a stop to this shit. But I think that would be awesome if they're truly looking for the venue in Japan. If Cap, with his performance, has jumped ahead and he's going to get the title shot, I think Japanese versus Japanese in Japan, and I really like that idea.
I think that cooks. Yeah, that's pretty good. Looking over a couple more of the names on here. Obviously, we know what's going on at the top of the division. Breaking news, somewhat anyway. Pantoja does not need surgery on the arm, which is good news. So hopefully that's just going to be an injury that will heal somewhat naturally. Go through his therapy and all of that, and he should be back to action sooner than he would have been if surgery was necessary. So that's good. Manel Kopp obviously coming off of a big victory at the end of the year. I mean, it sucks because it's over Brendan Royval, who really was like the mainstay of the division, and now seems to be sliding a little bit. But Manel Kopp, I mean, it's hard to say that he shouldn't be getting the shot after a victory like that, based on what we've seen out of him at this point. Activity maybe plays a little bit of a factor into that, but you got to think that they're going to give the shot immediately back to Pantoja, right? Especially without there being surgery involved.
No, absolutely, and again, bless up to Pantoja. I'm glad that it looked worse than it actually was, and that's sometimes how it is. Sometimes it makes you look away, but at the end of the day, the human body, if you fall the right way, I know he fell the wrong way, of course, but it wasn't the worst way. So shout out to him for coming back. He's gonna be back soon. Can't wait. Hopefully, honestly, hopefully we just hold off and get that rematch because I would not like Manel Cap to poke Josh Van in the face and poke him in the eyes.
True.
I would not like to have to defend him in the way that I ridiculed Tom Aspinall, and that's basically what it comes down to. So that's that. I also agree that Tyra should be the one getting the title shot as well. Like, I mean, that would be cool to get that in Japan. But Manel Cap definitely jumped him by finishing Royval. Oh, the thing that I wanted to bring up before I let you go, because I know I
Mhm.
just stopped you.
No, no, you're good.
Amir Albazi,
Yeah,
also inactive. Like, where the fuck
true.
is that dude? Fuck off. Like,
Yeah, no, I mean, he was very inactive. He had, he had like a surgery type of situation. He had some medical issues and stuff that he was recovering from, but then comes back and just gets annihilated by Brendan Moreno. So the fact that he's not lower on this list is kind of surprising to me, even based on what he had done beforehand. He's got a lot of ground to make up, and even being six, like I said, I would have him probably closer to 10 personally, based on inactivity and the last performance. But yeah, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I would like that change, but then you've got Sual Mabayev coming off of a loss as well. Actually, no, he ended up getting one back, did he not? He won his last fight.
who?
Sual Mabayev. That was his last fight
Yes,
was
he
not the
just
cop fight.
beat Alex Perez. He
Right,
just submitted
correct.
him.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, coming off of a finish. So I mean, yeah, Sue Almabayev, I think that swap in that would make perfect sense. Kyoji Horiguchi being essentially a newcomer to the rankings as they are now, he can sort of stay where he's at. The big standout to me, and what like sort of is the wild card of all of this, would be Brandon Moreno. I mean, we did see what happened with the Tyra fight. Obviously, it didn't go his way. However, we kind of all sort of feel that maybe it was a little bit of an early stop in that one. What happens there? I mean, like, Moreno's still a guy who's one of my favorite fighters, I would say. I think that he's still a guy who brings a lot to the table. So what do you do with that now that you've got Tyra with a win? Now Kopp coming off of a big win, Alexandre Pantoja just waiting for his rematch, and then the champ after that. I mean, it kind of puts Moreno in a bad spot.
I think this is beautiful, and I want you guys to watch out for this. Everybody listening, this is your play right here. The next time Brandon Moreno gets his fucking, gets a fight, and I actually think it's coming up because I think they booked him against Asu, maybe like
Yes,
a
I
quick
believe that is
turnaround.
that. Yeah, that is the case, I think.
People are gonna fade Moreno. They're gonna be like, dude, he just got fucking knocked out. He just got finished. Guys, he's also only like 33 or something like that. I'm pretty sure he's also very, very young, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
He's also coming off a performance where he butchered Amir Albazi for fucking 3 rounds or 5 rounds, whatever the fuck it was. He
5 rounds. Yeah.
cooked that fucking dude. Guys, let them fade him. Let the books give Brandon Moreno, dog money. And I'm telling you, you take that and you will end up in Mexico living next door to him.
I do. I
Promise
said
you.
the idea of Moreno at dog money gives me goosebumps. I like it so much.
Yeah.
I'm like that. That is the easiest bet of all fucking time. Moreno is one of the most technically proficient fighters in the UFC. I would stake my claim on that. So granted, look, Tyra is he's a young, hungry buck who's out here really making waves for himself and putting on for Japan. So it's understandable that it ended up that it was trending that direction, perhaps. The stoppage is going to be what the stoppage is. Barring a stoppage like that, Moreno, I mean, I take Moreno over like 90% of this list. You know what I mean?
I will take that stoppage versus a knockout because now his longevity is gonna be even better. If
True.
he would have went in there and got flatlined, it's like, well, shit. Now Brandon Moreno is gonna have something to worry about. But the fact it was kind of fluky and he was okay, like he was fine. He contested it, but it's like he he obviously is conscious enough that. Brandon Moreno has this personality where he can accept defeat kind of deal, and he's conscious enough to get mad and frustrated, but then also understand like, well, the fight's over, like I can't do anything about it.
Eh,
So
He's
you
too
know,
much of a nice guy as well, I think, but that's just him as a person, whatever.
right. So my point is like it doesn't worry me going forward for that finish. It's like, okay, it was a little bit of an early one. He's fine. He was good. He could do it again if they let him go again, he would. But like in the term of like him getting, his submitted or something, like his arm broke or him getting knocked out clean. It's like I would take that finish over anything because now he's going to come back and they're going to fade him probably, and he's going to look so good. He's going to be motivated. Like that's some bullshit. This is
True.
champ, guys.
Yeah. And I believe that Charles Johnson is booked as well. I think I saw that, or either that or he is firming up a fight. So I wonder who that's going to be against. I would assume that he's fighting up. I would hope so.
Listen, here I know we've talked about it before, but we can talk about Charles Johnson just because the chat needs to hear it. He is always on Twitter, and Charles Johnson. Listen, I'm not against you. I'm just making the comment. I see you on Twitter. You talk just a little too much about not getting the opportunities. Like, oh, Josh Van, great win, but I beat him. Like, where's my, dude? It's cool. We get it, but like you were active for a good amount of time. Like there was a good point where you fought like 5 fights, like back to back to back to back to
I
back.
was going to say some would say too active, honestly. I mean, taking fights when he probably should have given himself a little bit of time to rest and get better.
And then you lost one fight to a dude who popped to steroids. That's fine. I get it. You have been wronged. You have been overlooked. You are now ranked. It's not necessarily rightfully ranked, but the guy that you beat is now the champion. Listen, get off Twitter, get in the fucking gym, and I want you to go ahead and rise this ranks because now they're giving you the opportunity. They're showing you like, okay, we are tired of hearing you. Now shut up. We gave you the rank. Prove it that you deserve to even be ranked. Now don't make us look stupid for overlooking you because for the longest time they have been. And don't make it look like for good reason. You got to actually come out here and you got to fucking jump Alex Perez, you got to jump fucking Tim Elliott, you got to go get Horiguchi and you got to actually put on a 3-round performance against this dude. If you are really about it right now, Charles Johnson, get the fuck off Twitter, go against Horiguchi and beat that dude. Like that's all I'm saying.
True. I like it. Yeah, I'm with you on all of that actually. And then the last question that I really have based on this current standings list, and if you have anything else you want to add, you can. But the last question that I have is based on what we now have seen with Charles Johnson obviously being in that mix. What do you think Lonnie or Kavanaugh does? Do you think that he has a bounce back, or is he dropping off this list sometime this year?
What's crazy is he's an unfortunate case of somebody like again knocked out clean, but he's somebody that when you watch you could tell has all the abilities, has the skill set. It's going to take time for us to see if he has the mentality to keep it going or if he continues to be that guy who just lets his guard down. If that becomes a consistent issue with him, like there's things to behold. But if he actually, if he don't let off the gas in this next fight, and he shows us that, like, obviously, if he gets a finish or if he comes out here and puts on a very good performance for 3 rounds, like that's, I think there's still potential for him. Because, like, look at Josh Van, of course, knocked out by the same guy, kind of same instance, whatever you want to say, but anything's possible. And Lonnie Kavanaugh, again, He's one of these fighters that is at he's got a lot of things going. He's got a lot of adversity going against him, just at the size and stature that he's going to be. I mean, Josh Van, look at him. I mean, he's one of the smaller people in the division. He doesn't have long arms, but he's able to use all of these to his advantage. We're going to talk about somebody in the later weight classes. Alexander Volkanovski is another good example as well. It doesn't always have to be the everything, all the cards are not always in your favor, but Lonnie Kavanaugh is somebody that's going to have to work a lot harder than a lot of these people. So if he continues to do that, I'm very excited to see what he does because, again, really, really young, really, really good, just what the flyweight division needs because, as always, the flyweights just stick around. I mean, and if this is a guy who can just stick around, he's very, very young. Bruno Silva is a guy who can just stick around, and he's old and he's going to get out of here. But Lonnie Kavanaugh, if he can stick around 7, 8 years somehow, and then even go up to bantamweight when he's ready. That's another option for all these people, especially when they're young. They come in at 25, the weight class 25, and if they're age 25 and stuff like that, they could just go up to 35 once they're in prime athletic form. And I think it's just Lonnie Kavanaugh is potentially going to be one of those dudes. I think, but he again. Adversity with the size, he's going to be Carlos Vera. When it comes to bantamweight, he's very, very short in stature. So hopefully you can continue to be making weight is all I'm saying. So
True. Yeah. I mean, that's basically my thoughts kind of. I mean, if he comes back and gets a win, then sticking around in the rankings makes perfect sense. If he does end up dropping off the rankings, he's one of those kind of guys that I'm hoping just sticks to the program, continues to build skills over time, drops off for a little bit. There's nothing to say that he can't get right back into the rankings. So, it
absolutely.
really next fight's going to be very telling, but thereafter, I think there's a long history being written for him.
Okay, so going forward in 2026, who do you think needs to get into the rankings of flyweight, and then who do you think on this list needs to be eradicated? If you have anybody off the top of your head, I
Uh,
don't think I do, but I can tell you who needs to go, and if you want me to go first, I will.
the one person that comes to mind as far as getting into the rankings, I believe that he's flyweight, was that dude Timarov, if I recall. He was a dude that
Oh, dude, that's the dude that popped for steroids against
he
Charles
did.
Johnson.
Yeah, I know. Get clean, which sucks. I mean, he did have knockout power, so it does suck that is the case. But yeah, that's the only name of like somebody who I actually like was so impressed with that I was like, man, it would have been nice, but
I'm about to
yeah.
cook him right now, guys. Chat, ready? We got Joseph Morales from The Ultimate Fighter, and then
Ooh,
also we got
love it.
Imanol from The Ultimate Fighter as well, because he
Yeah.
had a stellar comeback on the Contender Series. And now that I say it, I really cooked because those are two people that, again, rankings soon, and the people that need to go in place of that guy, Tagir Ulanbekov. Listen, the Dagestani thing it's wore off. It's wore off. You're just washed. You're just terrible. And no matter how many times Habib can yell at you on the sideline, you get smoked by just random people, and I'm just done with it. So
Yeah, and I mean Bruno Silva also would be one that can drop off at some point. You already kind of said he's probably on the way out, but you put me on the spot and outdid me, Chase. Jesus, that was fucking really good. Both of
yeah,
those are excellent picks. Yeah, really really sharp on both of those. I agree entirely. Yeah, Joseph Morales. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't put Joseph Morales on here already.
I mean, yeah, true, but
I mean,
he's
just by nature of flyweight in general, you know what I mean? It's like one of those divisions that, like, because literally we saw Steve Urseg come in, get a short, like you go back through Steve Urseg's his history, come into the UFC on short notice, get a win over a ranked guy, and then took his slot off of one fight. So, like, Joseph Morales coming in and doing some nice work early on. I would think that there's probably potential, like one more fight will get him into the rankings easy.
yeah, true. I mean, especially because he's a tough alum, so they're probably most likely going to skyrocket this dude. So.
Yeah, most definitely, I would say. Cool. Well, good deal there. All right. So that is flyweight for us. Uh, Bantamweight is next up, and of course, your current champion is Piotr Yan. Number one is Merab Dvalishvili. Number two is Umar Nurmagomedov. Number three is Sean O'Malley. Number four, Corey Sandhagen. Number five is Song Yadong. Number six, Davison Figueredo. Number seven, Ayman Zahabi. Number eight, Marlon Chito Vera. Number nine, Mario Bautista. Number 10, David Martinez. Number 11, Peyton Talbot. Number 12, Rob Font. Number 13, Vinicius Oliveira. Number 14, Kyler Phillips. And rounded out at number 15, Montel Jackson.
What is interesting to note, and this is why this list is kind of stupid sometimes, or it's saying, is it saying he's now not ranked, or is he was not ranked
Who what?
for Montel Jackson?
Oh no, he's right. He oh no, yeah, that he was previously unranked.
Okay, okay, yes, okay. Just making sure. This list, brother, there's some bad ones here, but there's also some good ones. The reason I say there's some bad ones is because I look at number 6 here, and I look at Davis and Figueiredo, and I've put a lot of stock into him in his last couple bouts, but he's officially washed. Because when you look at the number 15th ranked guy, Montel Jackson, he just went to a 3-round snooze fest with him. How is he ranked 6th in this fucking division? Are we serious right now? He should have dropped 3 points. Like, Ayman Zahabi being 1 rank above Marlon Vera, Cheeto Vera, excuse me. What in the world? He just beat him. What are you talking about 1 rank? Ayman Zahabi is rightfully one of the more underrated people in this division. I mean, Corey Sandhagen still being number 4. Brother, I'm just, oh gosh. Mario Batista, I think, needs to be a little higher. I think, how is he lower than Cheeto? What is happening here? Am I,
Well,
am I
I mean,
missing something?
I think CT is actually kind of saying my overall thoughts in general, and this is something I've kind of thought for a little while. Bantamweight is just a shallow depth pool right now, in my opinion, man. I mean, we've got it almost reminds me a little bit of flyweight in the sense that like you've got a solid stack of like your core guys that you know that you can count on for solid wins at like like in the top and generally in some of these other areas, but like overall we like there's been a little bit of churn mostly at the top, and then the rest is just kind of sort of middling with a little bit of fresh blood and like someone like a David Martinez, maybe a Peyton Talbot on top of that too now. But like overall we just need to see some of this the churn going through, because now we've been everybody's been focused on essentially the top 3 guys mostly, I would say. I mean, maybe not Sean O'Malley even to this point. Marab, Umar to a lesser extent when he was in the picture, and then now Piotr Jan taking that over. It's just it's a churny division that's a little bit light.
Dude, okay, listen, and I know I've been ragging on this person for the past year, but maybe I just can't read, and maybe you can assist me if I missed it. Where is Honey Barcelos?
They, fucking Cook, brother, Cook. Yeah, I mean, geez, you would think.
I mean, are we fucking serious right now? This guy's on a 4-fight win streak. Just beat fucking Peyton Talbot this fucking calendar year. Montel
That is
Jackson
that's
15.
criminal. That's fucking criminal, to be perfectly honest. You are absolutely 10,000% correct. Hani Barcelos absolutely needs to be on this list.
I mean, David Martinez has 2 wins in the organization. One being a co-main event that he had to fucking step up to because one fell out. I mean, Honey Barcelos has been a consistent performer in the division. I mean, listen, I know we talk about Charles Johnson whining, but this dude, I'll whine for Honey Barcelos in this
Legit.
situation. Like, listen, I know I have not been on your side, brother, but listen, performances speak. You need to be in the rankings. Rob Font, Kyler Phillips, are
I
we
was going to say
fucking
that
for
literally
real?
my eyes were just looking at Kyler Phillips and Montel Jackson. I mean, even Vinicius Oliveira to an extent too. I mean, granted, coming off of better performances perhaps, but I mean, Jesus, like that is, yeah, that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, generally you beat the guy, you take his spot. People, multiple people on here that he has beaten, just hanging out, and he is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, that definitely upsets me. I'm not gonna lie, and I'll be the one to say it. I'm. It took me a long time to come around to it, guys, but I have to respect game is game, and Honey Barcelos needs to be a ranked fucking fighter. I didn't even know this wasn't a thing. I thought I was, ignoring facts for the longest time. I thought I had a very hard case to make for declining his greatness. But you're telling me he hasn't even been ranked this entire time? After he would have beat Peyton Talbot, it's like, oh, he should be ranked. But no, are we serious? Interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is flawed. I don't know what's going on with that one. Yeah, when it comes to bantamweight, listen, I can tell you that there's 2 dudes coming for bantamweight, and correct me if I'm wrong when it comes to their weight classes, but I believe it's Mr. Volagdin and Martinetti. I believe those are bantamweights.
I
Um,
think you are correct. I want to say that you're right. They maybe featherweight. No,
you might be
I,
cooking. Either way, they are coming for whichever division it ends up being. But if it's this one, guys, It won't take long. 2 fights, give it 'em.
Oh yeah,
Look at
well I
David
mean,
look at David Martinez. I mean, it takes 2 fights to get into the fucking rankings. If if you're a Mexican UFC fighter, you get in there and you get ranked at it's 2 UFC fights. If you're a random Brazilian, which I'm sorry, Honey Barcelos, but like this is the true statement to most of the people. You are just a Brazilian fighter to most. You don't get ranked because that's just what you are. But when it comes to people like Peyton Talbot who have star power, David Martinez who are backed by people who want to see him in Mexico perform at the highest, whatever you want to say, it's just crazy that you're not getting the respect right now. I think Ayman
true.
Zahabi is also not getting the respect.
Oh yeah, I'm his hobby, absolutely not getting the respect. One that comes to mind for me possibly this year, I think again, correct me if I'm wrong on the weight, but Andre Lima would be a name that would
Flyweight.
stick.
He never
It,
came back. I don't know what
did he?
happened to
Was
that
he? He
dude.
was. He was always a flyweight.
Yeah.
Oh, well then move up. But yeah, no, yeah, you're right. He didn't. He kind of just sort of dipped, it seems, or at least has been inactive for a little while for whatever reason.
Like,
But
winning too. Right?
yeah, right. Exactly. Though that's my point. He's like, he's getting wins, and then where's he been?
Yeah.
Well, fair enough then. If not, but yeah, this as far as this list goes, yeah, I mean, Bautista probably deserves to be over Cheeto. I would say.
No,
Uh,
that's criminal that Cheeto's over people right now.
Yeah, really. Yeah, definitely that. And I mean, that's Bautista still coming off of a loss. I mean, talk to our good buddy Rwand. He would be very upset that Umar is number 2, but I think that it's warranted. I mean, this dude is getting his wins, and really the only major loss, the only loss period, right, to former champ Marab. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense there. Corey Sandhagen probably a little bit too high for what we've seen out of him. Very checkerboard with him kind of talking his way into his position there. Song Yadong has a really, really prime opportunity to jump up if he beats Sean O'Malley coming up, which I think really I'm kind of hoping. Look, hate me if you want to. I've been preying on O'Malley's downfall for a while. I've always thought that he was not really not exactly as advertised in my opinion, and we was definitely exposed when it came to the fights with Marab. Song Yadong, I think would slot in a little bit better in the higher ranking personally. I agree with you about Figueiredo, and other than that, I mean, I'm pretty okay. But aside from what you're saying about Hani Barcelos, yeah,
Yeah, back to the original topic at point. Dude, Davidson Figueiredo, I'm sorry, dude. Mario Batista, Ayman Zahabi, those guys are better than you at this point. I mean, those ones for sure. I mean, I would be reaching if I said Martinez and Talbot. That's obviously too soon to say because you are a credentialed person in the sport. But this is not the pound for pound rankings. This is what you have done recently, and what I've seen you do recently is win a fight with 36 strikes. So, hmm,
did Vinicius Oliveira used to fight at flyweight?
no.
So then, did he not fight Lima? They
You
never
might
fought.
be you might be thinking of a different Lima.
Maybe I don't know. Okay, yeah, I'll get off. That's just what made me think of it. I thought that they had fought at one point, but maybe I'm wrong.
Mm.
Uh,
Sopaj, Saeed Nurmagomedov, and Kyler Phillips. I think those are.
uh,
Maybe there's one more after that.
True. All right. Well, either way, I guess the last question that I have, and we can move on. Marab getting going for the trilogy. You're thinking?
Oh, they have to. I mean, it's 1-1. What's the hubbub? If anybody's questioning, have you not been paying attention to the sport? Marab is the goat. Sean O'Malley got an instant rematch after one title defense. If they don't give it to Marab, I mean, listen, you just got to do the Aljo thing and just go on vacation and just enjoy your time. They clearly just don't fuck with you. I don't know. Like it's how
Fair.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. No. I mean, fair enough then. But how's that go?
I'm gonna trust that the person that we have deemed, a Hall of Fame. Listen, when it comes to Hall of Famers, what somebody is able to do per individual matchup, that's what builds a Hall of Fame resume. Marab isn't a Hall of Famer because he wins so many things. He is a Hall of Famer because he puts Hall of Fame numbers on the board every time he goes into the cage. Every time he shoots so many fucking takedowns, so many, advancing stats, so many significant strikes. He's got a lot of time in that cage. I don't know. It's hard for me. He did it. He did it the first time. He's got the way to win. It just looked like he just did not do it the right way the second time. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know.
It's a tough one. I've got to go with the most current data, and what we saw was Piotr Jan cracking the code. And I hate to say that because I do like Marab, and I think that he brings an element to a style that is sorely lacking for a lot of people that use it. A very wrestle heavy style can definitely not be fan friendly a lot of the time. Merab makes it entertaining, but Piotr Jan, he had the antidote. He everybody else getting poisoned, he had the answer, he had the antidote for it. So it's hard to think that Merab figures some new version of that out that Piotr Jan now in this current form is not going to be able to anticipate.
This one, listen, it's gonna be a hard rematch. I'm telling you. This is 3 rounds. Sorry, not 3 rounds. The third fight, and we get a lot of trilogies these days. But this one, I would say, I'm more intrigued about because we genuinely have two dominant performances from each person. It's kind of like they each figured each other out. So who's gonna come in with the? There's a lot of tape out there. There's what is it? Fucking however many minutes between them. 25 minutes, 50 minutes, whatever it is, that's a lot of time for them to study. So whoever's going to be on top, I don't know. Draw,
Yeah.
give it a draw, guys.
How crazy would that be? All right.
Oh, we
Well,
saw it with Valentina and Grasso, so really not that
sure.
crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. I mean, crazier things have happened.
Yeah, just give it Mike Bell and Sal Tomato.
Throw some tomatoes at him.
Hmm.
All right. Well, yep, that is bantamweight for you. Let's move on to featherweight here. Of course, your champion at featherweight is Alexander Volkanovski. Number 1 is Movsar Evloev. Number 2, Diego Lopez. Number 3, Yair Rodriguez. Number 4, Lerone Murphy. Number 5, Aljamain Sterling. Number 6, Arnold Allen. Number 7, Youssef Zalal. Number 8, Steve Garcia. Number 9, Brian Ortega. Number 10, Jean Silva. Number 11, Josh Emmett. Number 12, Patricio Pitbull. Oh, good Lord. Number 13, Kevin Vallejos. Number 14, Dan Ige. And rounding it out at number 15 is David Onama. There is a lot on this list that I'm like, wow.
This one kind of makes me sick. I'm not gonna lie. No, because there's just people who are rightful for the spot. Listen, let me start because you guys know I love Danny Gay. Danny Gay is a very great fighter, very good, very great fighter. Love him. Excuse me. But at this point, do I think he needs to be ranked? No, because I can name 3 other people who need to be ranked, and I will get to that. But Patricio Pitbull, David Onama, Josh Emmett at this point, brother, I just saw you submit to somebody in fucking 12 seconds. Anyway, there are 3 people off the top of my head who need to be ranked in this division, and the fact that they're not is pretty scandalous after the performances that we've seen them put on. So the first one is obviously clear. I've talked about this guy plenty of times. Jose Delgado. There's no reason that he needs to listen. Coming in, never he's a finisher, 100% finish rate. Finishes a guy who's never been finished. In his second fight after that, he comes in with a guy who's also never been finished, goes 3 rounds with him, and almost wins. I know it was a split decision. A lot of people say that he won, whatever you want to say. But the next person who obviously needs to be on this list is his opponent, Nathaniel Wood. What are we doing here? Where's Nathaniel Wood been? He has been a bona fide veteran. And I know it's a little checkerboard of a streak, but like, dude, he's a winner. And he truly is putting on, winning performances. It's not like he's ever going out there and getting just stomped out. It's like he puts on performances that are close. If it's not a split decision, unanimously he's winning. And if it's a unanimous decision loss, it's a damn good fight that I really love to watch. Now, the third one on my list, this is damn near criminal. This is worse than Honey Barcelos because this guy is not even just some old Brazilian. This is a new Brazilian who is getting so much shade, and I don't know what the deal is because listen, my guy Melky Costa needs to be fucking
Yeah.
ranked. Are
That
we
was that was
fucking
gonna be
kidding me?
mine. Yeah.
Oh God. Even Kevin Vallejos over Melky Costa is pretty crazy, I think. Like,
Yeah,
listen,
yeah, yeah. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, because I mean, Kevin Vallejo's coming off of a big knockout, but also Melchizael Costa coming off a big knockout.
yeah, so I don't know. It's just pretty crazy to me. There's just people that for some reason they get a lot more stock because there's a lot of politics behind it. When it comes to David Onama, why would he ever be ranked over Nathaniel Wood? I don't know. I really don't know. I truly, when it comes to fighters and what they're able to, the people that are going to put on good competition fights right here that I would rank up and who's going to put on performance against each other. Nathaniel Wood, I can match him up against anybody on this list right now. How would that not make him the 15th at least best fighter in the world? And that's just coming off of, I know a decision against Jose Delgado, but I agree Jose Delgado is better than fucking 4 of these people on this list, and time will tell. Don't worry, these will age fine. But I just think Josh Emmett. There's no reason that I mean, thankfully Calvin Cater is not on this list, but like that's almost the same thing, you know? Like it's just crazy.
True. I'm agreeing with a lot of what you're saying here. I mean, this division is another one that like a little bit of shakeup has sort of been happening with some of these newer guys coming in that were not necessarily as high, getting a little bit higher now, but there's still some shakeups that need to be happening. And the ones that you named are definitely a part of that for sure. Other names that stick out to me, Yair Rodriguez being third is just so crazy to me, man. I mean, like, I understand that he has had some good victories in his time, but like, it just seems that there are so many other times, so many other performances, and a win over Patricio Pitbull does absolutely nothing for me, bro. I mean, this guy Pitbull, the fact that he is anywhere in this conversation seems so ridiculously wild to me. So yeah, Yair Rodriguez being that high on the list seems very strange. Even over Lerone Murphy, who's been doing cooking so much and then calling for the title shot, as he probably deserves well more than a rematch with Diego Lopez, who I'm a huge fan of. But a spade's a spade's a spade. You lost the fight. Like, why? There's really no justification for this rematch.
Definitely see the Yair at 3. I can see the complaints there because Larone definitely should be over the Yair, and he should be over Mosvar because he took his opportunity and knocked out his opponent. You know, and of course Mosvar should not be over Diego because he's not even fighting for the fucking belt again. You know, that's a great point to make. But also, I think one that stands out that nobody's talking about because we love the guy so much, Arnold Allen, guys. Sixth, Steve Garcia and Yusuf Zalal have finished their opponents.
That yeah, I mean, you're really you're getting every one of the points because I
And
was going to
Aljo, I guess, but
True. Yeah. Aljo kind of, it's hard to say that he doesn't deserve where he's at because of the wins, but it's like, you still sort of have a weird kind of feeling about it to an extent because it's like the fight style is what it is. But then Movsar kind of falls into that same category a little bit too. And Movsar, as number one, the inactivity alone should be the thing that I think kind of pulls that out. It's like, yeah, granted, it's like, oh, well, I'll just wait for the title shot. Well, that doesn't satisfy me as far as where the rankings are. It's like it's fine if you have that right, I suppose, if you've won all of the fights that you have won, and he has convincingly, most of them anyway. Like you, I think that there's like you said, Diego's going back for a second run at the belt. It makes a little bit more sense. Lerone Murphy waiting in the wings for his shot, actively waiting in the wings for his shot, I think makes a lot more sense. And then, yeah, Yusuf Zalal and Steve Garcia, the fact that they are under Arnold Allen, that also does not track. Brian Ortega being as high as he is doesn't track either. This whole list is a little bit out of whack, in my opinion.
everybody loves T City. You heard Dana, so
Well, everybody except for one very specific person who's got a new boyfriend. But
true.
uh but yeah, so I mean, I don't know, any other thoughts on this? Because that, I mean, I'm seeing a whole bunch of stuff that just doesn't track to me, but I think that probably coming into the first part of the year, we're going to see a lot of this shakeout, I would think.
I'm really just sitting here the entire time trying to think of like sleepers in the divisions that I can throw out there that should be ranked or are going to be ranked. But I think the three that I had, Nathaniel Wood, obviously I think he's just been slandered way too long. It's kind of a lost cause at this point. He might end up like 15th gatekeeper type territory, but he ain't ever going to climb the rankings. They don't like him that much. Delgado has an opportunity because if you see what David Martinez, dude, your second fight, you can end up 10th ranked in the organization. Jose Delgado coming soon after he gets a win. And then, of course, Melky Costa. Just no way that he should not be over Onama, Ige, Vallejos. I think it's, not even questionable in my opinion because it's 4 fucking wins, 2 finishes, 2 finishes. Anyway, and then you got Pitbull, who does he even have a win in the organization? Like, I don't even know who he beat.
And Danny Gay.
True. Okay, fair. But then again, he lost a Yair, dude. That's bad. That's bad.
Oh yeah,
Anyway,
and the Danny Ige fight was like it was a terrible fight. So I mean, like, it hurts to see.
I would even honestly say that because John Silva has hype, that's the only reason that he's over Melky. I think reasonably you could put Melky behind Steve Garcia. Honestly, I think that's even fair because John Silva, what, a couple finishes and then gets finished himself. Melky, he's on a win streak right now, but he ain't been finished. John Silva's. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I think you're making good points there. Yeah, I mean, I think I've said most of what I want to say about this. I think that my only real prediction is that Yusuf Zalal ends up jumping up higher this year. I think that, love the fights that he's already had, hate it, whatever. A lot of dynamics go into that, how you feel about that. But the guy wins his fights. He wins them pretty convincingly. He's been on a tear since he's in his second stint in the UFC. I would say that there's a stock raising going on there. And we're just going to have to see. I mean, Yusuf Zalal versus Yair, that's a fight that makes sense to me. Get Yair, let them swap places.
Yeah, they both sub Josh Emmett, by the way. Isn't that crazy?
Wild.
Yeah, no, but the point that I was gonna make is, I was gonna say this about Yusuf Zalal. It's like it's crazy that he's not higher in the rankings because he's in the position right here, like the 6, 7, 8, 9. That's your 2 fights away from a title. Like, unfortunately, the UFC is just godly at making Brian Ortega just 2 fights away from a title at all points. Like, that's just, oh my god, it's crazy.
It's wild. I mean, there is definitely a little Dana White privilege going on with Ortega, considering everything that he's put the organization through. Of course, we cannot forget the situation that ended up having Diego Lopez and Dan Ige happen, and that was last year, I'm pretty sure, right? I mean, so and then Brian Ortega getting smoked so badly by Diego Lopez. I don't know. I mean, granted, he has had some really nice comeback victories, and he is tough. So it's like there are some good things to like about him, but when the record is the record, what are you going to say?
There was also just the last performance against Aljo. He was having complications before the fight
Oh
as
my
well.
God. Yeah. Complications. And then the fight being what the fight was. Good Lord, that fight.
Yeah, so, shout out that dude. Dana just feels bad. The kid just got his heart broken. Like, can you just give him a break? How about that?
Yeah, I certainly feel for him. Has a new girl, by the way. I mean, or
Yeah.
he's back with his old baby mama, from what I understand. So why he's so down bad over what's going on with his ex is a little bit crazy. I wonder what his current girlfriend thinks about all that. But either way, that is besides the point. The point is the rankings. So let's move on to the next division here, which of course is lightweight. And well, I mean, not updated right now, but your current champion, formerly, I guess, your recently vacated champion of the lightweight division, Ilia Topuria. Number 1 ranked is Arman Sarukian. Number 2, Charles Oliveira. Number 3, Max Holloway. Number 4, Justin Gaethje. Number 5, Paddy Pimblett. Number 6, Dan Hooker. Number 7, Mateusz Gamrot. Number 8, Benoit Saint Denis. Number 9, Rafael Fiziev. Number 10, Renato Moicano. Number 11, Beneil Dariush. Number 12, Michael Chandler. Number 13, Manuel Torres. Number 14, Mauricio Hufi. And number 15, Fares Zayam.
I think the first thing that I could say when I look at the list is like, bro, being Mexican gets you so many points in the UFC. Manuel Torres got finished 2 fights ago, guys, by Ignacio Bahamundes, I'm pretty sure. Like, and he lost to Fiziev, sure, but like I lost to Fiziev, and we're gonna give Manuel Torres a higher rank, than Hufi and Zaim. Dude, he just got finished, 2 fights ago. Like I don't know. I know Hufi just got finished as well, but how is Zaim lower than these guys? Like this dude's on a win streak as well. Like
Coming off of a crazy good victory in his last fight.
Dariush is ranked 11th over these guys. And he just got flatlined in 16 seconds. Before that, he hadn't fought in like 2 years. What is happening? Ugh.
Well, I mean, the same note that I have now said twice, this is possibly the most applicable it is to any division currently when we talk about a division that's been in flux for a while. I mean, you just had Dustin Poirier retire. You've got the current champion vacating. You've got number 4 and number 5 fighting for an interim title. You've got Armin and everything that comes with Armin, and then everything else thereafter is people either trying to maintain a position or new people trying to push their way into positions. So this whole division right here is in a very transitional period, I would say, and we're going to be seeing that really right at the start of the year is when that's going to be even more so apparent than it is based on these rankings currently. What's going to happen when Ilia comes back? When is Ilia going to come back? I mean, these are questions that we don't have answers to right now. Where does Armin slot in? Does Armin get the immediate title shot after we crown an interim champion? If Ilia does not come back, if Ilia does come back, does he end up? I mean, obviously he's got to fight the interim champion, but then does Armin just get the shot right after that? Charles Oliveira at number 2, coming off of victories. I mean, there's so much uncertainty, and that's just the top of the division.
Yeah, no, this one definitely a clusterfuck. But in actuality, this has been the division that everybody has always stated the most competitive. This is the most fluff for the divisions. You know, there's a lot of good fighters in these divisions that are not even ranked. And of course, we can get into that right now. I mean, guys, Chris motherfucking Duncan. What is the fucking problem here? I mean, are we serious, Dariush? Chandler? I mean, Hoofy? I mean, listen, guys, I get the hype is real, but like, are we serious right now? Like, this is a guy who needs to be in the rankings, like ASAP. Like, how did we fuck this up?
Well, I mean, look, if we're okay with people being in the rankings and the losses don't matter, then get Mateusz Rumbetsky on the goddamn list.
I listen. I was he was on my mind, but listen, he obviously takes losses, but he puts on fucking wars. He's the same. He listen, Chris Duncan though. He's on a win streak,
No,
and
I
these
know.
are
Yeah,
finish streaks. Yes, but no.
of course.
So when it comes to people like that, I mean, Bahamundez is another good person because he just beat Jalen Turner, and Jalen Turner was ranked before he retired. I'm pretty sure. Like, what's happening here? And I know Bahamundez lost to Fiziev again, but how does that make him unranked? And how I know Fares Zaim is unrightfully placed at 15th. He should be higher, but Bahamundez should definitely be on this list. Jalen Turner coming back with a finish. Hey, I'm not saying too much here, but he might need to be on this list, guys. Let me just say it. He looked
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
very true. I mean, really, it's for him. It's just a matter of consistency. If he can stay consistent, he will be back on the list. Absolutely. What are you thinking about Mateusz Gamrot and all of this? Number 7.
I think it's fair that he's right near Dan Hooker. I think in the fight with Dan Hooker, I believed he won. A lot of people says no, but you know that's what a split decision is, of course. So him being right near Dan Hooker, under him, because of what the actual outcome was, I think it is very fair. But BSD, I think with the momentum of this year, I think he should have jumped both of them. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm with it. I'm with that. Well, at BSD, I think, yeah, no, I mean, no, you're right. Yeah, if you're saying, if you're saying Benoit Saint Denis should have jumped Hooker and Gamrot, I think that that's
Yeah,
probably in the cards as far as whatever the next update of this is. That absolutely is the case. Yeah, I said when we did our best of the year, I think Benoit Saint Denis has. I said that there was a case for Benoit Saint Denis being fighter of the year. I mean, it was a super dark horse. I didn't think that he actually was, but I really put him on there just more to make a point that coming off of the Dustin Poirier loss and then having the year that he had, I mean, he really raised his stock in a dramatic way.
dude, he lost to is fucking retired. Who cares? Renato Moicano's washed too. Who gives a shit? That's why we leapfrogged him. So we're good. BSD's fine. He's one of these dudes that I wasn't necessarily like, obviously I thought Dustin Poirier was going to beat him, and then when he did, BSD took his loss like a champ. I'm not gonna lie. Some people know how to take losses, and he came back, took another bad loss against Moicano. I mean, that was just a brutal beatdown, and the doctor stopped it, of course. And then he came back with these two emphatic finishes, and he truly is becoming one of my favorite fighters. I mean, when you talk about marauders, that's that guy right there. I think of Benoit Saint Denis. I think of Chris Benoit Saint Denis. So
I don't know if that's necessarily the association he would appreciate, but I understand the thought process.
yeah,
Yeah, looking over the list here, I mean, what we talked about with Max being on the pound for pound sort of plays a little bit into him being ranked
he's got
third
to get a
on.
title shot soon, right? Come on,
Uh,
at lightweight.
Title shot, title shot, title shot, title shot. I mean, how many times I want Max to have it so bad, but like it's tough to keep giving the same guy this a consistent roundabout with that.
Yeah, too bad there's not two titles to go around in this division because there's a lot of people who are expected a title shot who rightfully could get a title shot, but who is going to get it is going to be the question. And the fact it's Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett, love it, love to see it.
Justin Gaethje legitimately talking his way into this title shot is just a wild element to this.
Was not talking; it was playing golf. It was rounds of golf that got
Golfing
him
his
in there.
way,
Yes,
golfing his way
exactly.
in. Okay, yeah, that does change things slightly, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, it is crazy that is the matchup for the interim title. But of course, we understand that based on the dynamics being as they are with the top of the division with Ilya and everything that he's going through. New video on the channel by the way about that, so check that out. But Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, but this is the sport. This is what the organization wants to do, so it's going to be what it's going to be. Charles Oliveira always just kind of circulating either number one, number two belt, whatever. Like he's always just in the equation up there. Dan Hooker dropping. We've already talked about that a little bit. That makes definite sense to me. And yeah,
I mean, to
Dariush
be
being a
fair, with how bad he looked,
yeah.
he probably should have dropped a lot more, but I get he has to be above Gamrot, and you can't really drop Gamrot too much, so you're kind of codependent on each other there.
Sure. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see it. I can see that aspect of it, but it still just does not sit right with me based on how bad of a beating that was. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that you hit most of the major points that I have. I think my big wild card for this is if Mauricio Hufi is going to be able to bounce back, because I have been saying that basically since we saw this guy debut, I was like, he has a style that is going to be figured out by the more elites of this sport. We saw that to be the case. Now the bounce back is going to be way more important than ever, because if he does not come back in an emphatic way and make that style work for him against the upper echelons of the sport, then he's just going to continue to be figured out over and over again, in my opinion.
True. And what's unfortunate about this class is there's so many people and there's just too many different, generic fighters that are just lightweights that I can't tell you too many prospects that I think off the top of my head that are lightweight fighters. When I think of lightweight guys right now off the top of my head, I mean, Sadikov, nope. Yeah, he's cooked and he definitely don't deserve to be ranked. So
Oh, breaks my heart. I really want to believe that Sadikov bounces back and that was just a really off night for him. I want to believe that because of what we've seen. Gave him fight of the year. I mean, like, obviously we know that the guy is capable, but Perez Zayam just made him look so bad in that fight. It's hard to see a fighter that you have as much hope in have something like that happen to. As I put him on the fraud checklist as well. I mean, like that, which is crazy. So hopefully we see a resurgence there. And again, if it's just a one-off bad night, chalk it up to exactly that. If we start seeing any kind of consistent losses there, then yeah, maybe it's something that was a flash in the pan that really wasn't all that to begin with, which sucks.
I don't think he was lightweight. I think he was probably bantamweight, but I think it off the top of my head. This is another pull from the Contender Series. If you remember the Pink Panther, the Scouse,
Yes, yeah, the
that
dude with
guy is going to be, yeah,
the very
like
thick
him.
glasses. Yes,
And not just that, but also has his outro music. I don't know if you caught that. We'll bring it up one more time. He gets an outro music for the Pink Panther theme song. That's next level shit. That's like getting pyro in WWE. I mean, it means something, So
Word.
just
Yeah, absolutely. No, a bunch of Contender Series people that are probably going to be coming in and shaking things up in a bunch of these divisions. You've been pulling some really good ones, but there are probably a bunch of other ones that just haven't made the
yeah,
indelible impression just yet. So I
100%.
like it though. All right. Well, that is that division, lightweight. Let's move on to welterweight. Of course, your current champion is Islam Makhachev. Number one is Jack Della Maddalena. Number two is Shavkat Rakhmonov. Number three, Ian Machado Gary. Number four is Michael Morales. Number five, Bilal Muhammad. Number six, Carlos Prates. Number seven, Sean Brady. Number eight, Kamaru Usman. Number 9, Leon Edwards. Number 10, Joaquin Buckley. Number 11, Gabriel Bonfim. Number 12, Gilbert Burns. Number 13, Jeff Neal. Number 14, Colby Covington. And number 15, Daniel Rodriguez. What do you think?
Wow, the end of that one.
I
That
know. Yeah,
that
the trail off goes real hard in this division.
the first thing that I want to note is that, as the number 2 ranked guy or whatever Sean Brady was at the time, Michael Morales knocks him out and becomes 4th ranked. I think that is very fair that he does not go above Gary and Rachmanov. Now, Ian Gary, I do believe should have been ranked higher than Rachmanov. I know he lost, but Shavkat is not fighting, and Ian Gary is the only dude to actually take that fight, not get finished, and make it close. Same thing with Prates. Take the fight, win, but not just win, but not get finished. What Carlos Prates has done to everybody before, everybody after. Not Ian Gary in between all that. So I think Ian Gary should have been rightfully ranked number 2, if not even the number 1 contender here. This is
Well,
crazy.
and what's crazy to me is that, these lists are updated, I believe, on a weekly basis, I want to say, or maybe after events, when they do the updates. But Ian Gary just beat Bilal Muhammad. Shavkat has not fought since his fight with Gary, yet they somehow moved Shavkat up for what reason exactly? I mean, why was there a raise for Shavkat going up a rank and then Ian Gary going down one?
Well, there was an AI out there, and he just pulled some information off Shafkat, probably.
Big facts, big facts. AI coming in to take the rankings makers' jobs away over here. Well, other than the top of the division, which this division is so stacked, this is the most competitive division I would say right now. As far as active competition goes, you've got legitimate up and this is what happens to a division. When I talk about divisions being shaken up, this is the outcome of that because this division just went through a major shakeup and continues to be shaken up to an extent with Islam taking the championship. But you have a bunch of guys who fought their way into the top of the rankings. But this is a post shakeup world, and you've got a crazy bunch of guys in here very hungry to make even bigger names for themselves.
This division absolutely is one of my favorites, and it actually was. I would say I'm not necessarily excited for what's coming, and I'll explain why. I've said this before, but this division, of course, welterweight, the Wild West. This is what we used to have because everybody was so hungry in this division, and they were so elite at striking and what they did, and they were always putting on great performances. But there was no clear cut victor. Everybody was always saying it's Shavkat. When Shavkat's healthy, he's going to be the champion. He's going to beat this and that. He's going to do that and that. He ain't been healthy. He ain't been around. We've had so many people that are reaching for this number one contender spot that have been so close that have been getting it. They gotta give it to fucking Bilal Muhammad at a point because there's just so many good opportunities that once we get Bilal his opportunity because we know it's rightful, he'll just keep beating the bums. We give him the opportunity, he gets the belt, cool. Then he gets beat, we get him out the picture, we never talk about him again. But when you have people like Carlos Prates, you have somebody like Michael Morales, Ian Gary, Jack Della, for example, is another good one. I think these are really good, young, hungry guys who you can't really say is the clear cut contender, number one contender, but at the time, that was when the champion was so easily dethroned, in my opinion, by an elite striker that we've had in a lot of these guys. But now, Islam's the champ, guys. That dream is over. He beats all of these guys. There's I don't care how elite of striking they have. Islam is probably gonna beat them. Like I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to see some hope. I'm gonna have to see something that gives me hope. Like that right there. That right there is going to beat Islam Makhachev. And the only thing that makes me say that, unfortunately, is the number eighth ranked guy, Kamara Usman. And that's the unfortunate part because the legacy will carry him to be able to get this opportunity against Islam. And I think he has the best opportunity to defend his wrestling. That's just me, though.
Um, yeah, there's a number of possibilities as far as these guys go when it comes to Islam and what your arguments could be. Because I think that there is a line of thinking that says, well, Michael Morales took out Sean Brady, who is known for being a good wrestler, so maybe he lands the shot, and then that's his in. Ian Gary can potentially get himself out of a lot of sticky situations. A point strike from the outside. Maybe there's a case to be made there. Like I'm saying, these are hypotheticals, of course. But my point is essentially exactly what you said. You can hypothetical your way into 800 different pretzels. Islam Makhachev is the best fighter on the planet right now,
Yeah.
currently. And that's just what it is. So, if you want to, go through all of these different mental gymnastics for it, then that's your own business. But it's always going to come back to the same conclusion for me. Anybody is going to be falling to Islam right now. It is Islam's world.
Yeah, and speaking of the best fighter in the world, we obviously got to talk about the other end of the spectrum when it comes to the rest of this division. Because when you get to about 11 to 15, you have you have some really bad fighters. I mean, this is just my opinion. Bomb Theme, we know for a fact is not that great. You know, got to finish TKO finish first TKO in his career or something like that. Crazy, good for him. But we know he ain't nothing crazy. I mean, we know for a fact if he went up against Prates, fucking Sean
Which
Brady
he's
would
probably
dog
gonna
that dude.
he's going to. I mean, like
Yeah,
that's the other
true.
thing that you always got to keep in mind with this is like, yeah, all of these guys are being on this list. It makes you the next target. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
that's really what it comes down to. So yeah, no, you're definitely cooking. But that's what I had said. The drop off in this division is so ridiculously steep. Like you've got, because that's again, this is a post shakeup version of all of this. That's where Pratis is up there. That's where Morales is up there. You know, Ian Gary has been in the equation for a little minute, but you know, he's as high as he is right now. And then you know, you're picking off stragglers where you still have Leon in the equation. I mean, that's, you know, as you've said many times, Leon probably continuing to drop stock over fight. I love Jeff Neal. I'm a big fan of the guy, but again, we've got to be realistic here. Colby Covington being in the rankings, get me get this guy the fuck out of here. Give me an aspirin for that being exactly in this makeup of things. It is ridiculous. I have a headache over it. And then Daniel Rodriguez, we don't even know where that guy is.
That was actually going to be my next point. Do we know if he's in prison or not? Like, is this a true thing? I mean,
I've been toying with the idea of making a video about this because this has now been a narrative, and we haven't even really talked about this on the show or really anywhere. I don't think, but yeah, if you're not aware, Daniel Rodriguez just seems to be MIA right now, and no one seems to know where he is. He has not been on social media. There's been a number of rumors that he is in prison in Mexico right now. I don't know where that started or what that is based on, but we don't know what the answer is with Daniel Rodriguez. He starts his rap career, he makes his own walkout song, and then disappears. So, D-Rod, if you're out there, you know, come up for air, brother, because there's a lot of rumors circulating. And like I said, if you don't come back up at some point, I might have to make a video saying this exact thing. Where the hell is this guy?
yeah, you know what's crazy is a lot of people, and I'm not trying to be that way, but a lot of people are speculating, oh, he's, in jail or prison in Mexico. It's like, that might be like best case scenario. Like, we legit don't know where he's at. Like, haven't heard from him. Like, what's that? I mean, what to an extent does nobody know where Daniel Rodriguez has been for the past X amount of days? Like, that's not that good. Does the UFC not have wellness checks?
Yeah. I mean, this is I mean, maybe somebody knows and he's just laying very, very low, but why? That's the big question to me. I mean, you know, he's coming off of the victory over Kevin Holland. This is not exactly a time to lay low and you know, bide your time. I mean,
Your rap career could be taken the fuck off, dude. Like,
exactly. I mean, I've been waiting to hear these bars personally. So yeah, I mean, you know, D-Rod, we're gonna have to find out what the deal is there. But
not these bars,
yeah,
but
for real, exactly. I want rap bars, not you behind bars, D-Rod. Come on, brother.
yeah, he must have misheard the crowd. Like, yeah, give us the bars. He's like, fuck, I gotta go.
I know exactly where I can do that. Yeah, so I mean that's an interesting one there, of course. Also on this list, Gilbert Burns. Come on, bro. I mean, this is time to, beyond time for Gilbert Burns to not be ranked at this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just find it cute that Jeff Neal just like jumped one over Colby. It's not
Well,
like the whole list jumps Colby. It's like, nah, Jeff Neal, you're probably better. You can have it.
I mean, if there's activity is playing any part in that, then okay. But again, we talked about Shavkat and Ian Gary having a little flip flop for no reason. So why Jeff Neal and Colby Covington flip flopping for no reason seems very strange. But Colby being on the list at all is crazy. So yeah, I mean, Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington. We talked about D-Rod, a little bit different circumstances, but you know, again, Leon Edwards being on there. There's the basically, if you cut it off at Kamaru Usman, that whole maybe Joaquin Buckley can also still be in that mix to a little bit more of an extent. He'll probably come back and still get some good wins, but basically after number 8 down, there needs to be a little bit more of a reworking there, and I'm sure we'll see some of that coming into the new year here.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, anything else that you got on welterweight before we move on?
I think welterweight is going to be very interesting. Some contender series guys that I don't know if he was welterweight or if he was middleweight. Oh, I'm sorry. The Brazilian paratrooper. That guy was pretty cool.
Yes, I remember who you're talking about. I forget his name off the top of my head.
But he did walk with a limp, and somebody did confirm jumping out of planes, landing is hard on the knees. So everybody just keep an eye out on some injury. Listen, I don't know.
Hey, well, if anybody has shown us that rumors about knees can be easily debunked, it would be Mr. Kamaru Usman at number 8. So
True.
just saying. All right, well, good deal. Yeah, I mean, welterweight. You know, I'm just my own final thoughts over here. Welterweight is the hottest division right now, and it's not even really all that close, in my opinion.
Danilo Doncheco.
Love it. Yeah, definitely. Oh, and also his training partner, our boy oh god, the Bellator guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yaroslav Amosov. That's his name.
Actually, he should be ranked. I mean, Jeff or not
Yeah.
Jeff Neal, Neil Magny for a decent amount of time was ranked, and he's gatekeeper territory at like 14th, 15th. That dude comes in and subs Neil Magny on his fucking debut. Yeah, he needs to be over Daniel Rodriguez and Colby Covington.
Or at least dropping one of those off, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I would say that again, that's one of those things that's going to shake out pretty quickly, I would think. But yeah, Amosov, I think that a ranking is probably in his very near future.
True.
One more fight. All right, next up is middleweight. Of course, your inactive champion, Hamzat Chimaev. Number 1 is Dricus du Plessis. Number 2, Nasruddin Imavov. Number 3, Sean Strickland. Number 4, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Number 5, Brendan Allen. Number 6, Israel Adesanya. Number 7, Caio Bahayo. Number 8, Rainier de Ritter. Number 9, Robert Whitaker. Number 10, Jared Cannonier. Also number 10, I guess tied for 10th or 10/11. Next up is Michael Venom Page. Number 12, Roman Dolidze. Number 13, Paulo Costa. Number 14, Gregory Robocop Rodriguez. And number 15, Joey Pfeiffer.
MVP beat Jared Cannonier. What are we doing this tied for 10th?
Yeah, I don't know what that tied for 10th. Why? Maybe it's just the numbers are odd or whatever. But yeah, why he's not over him? I guess is kind of an interesting question. But then Jared Cannonier just beat RoboCop, so.
I mean, but yeah, he's rightfully over, Gregory, he's over him. Yeah, that's fine. But MVP just beat Jared. That was like his last fight, was it not? Like, I'm.
Oh yeah, that was his last fight. Was it? I think so. Yeah,
It
good
was a
point.
while ago, but like, are we going to
Huh.
factor in activity or are we not going to factor it in? Because this is his most recent performance was against Jared and he beat him. How is he ranked below him? Paulo Costa still being ranked is pretty fucking
I mean,
nutty.
yeah, shout out to Lachlan in the chat saying that exact
Oh,
thing. I mean,
damn.
it is criminal. Absolutely. Paulo Costa, who had pulled out of 7 fights in the past and now has done it again coming into the new year, ranked still. Give me a break.
Yeah, I want to see what my boy Marshall has to say about this one because the thing that sticks out to me most is, there was a lot of talk going around that if Hamza became champion, there was only one person that was going to be able to beat him, and that was RDR. And I want you guys to know that I was very confident that there was one person on this planet, if that could be the person to beat the champ, that was going to be Brendan Allen. And he comes in at number 5, and there is an opportunity some way, somehow, that he gets to fight Hamza. I think you guys will be very surprised at how much better he does than Dricus at losing. But either way, he's still very, very good in my opinion. And I think he shocked the world. And I think, I mean, ranked number 5 is pretty crazy. I think I don't know, guys. Brendan Allen really shocked the world. I think he made some major improvements and came out here and did what a lot of people wrote him off for. It's rightful that he's under Anthony Hernandez. I'm pretty sure Fluffy beat him already, so I think that adds up. Strickland and Fluffy supposedly going to have a fight. Kind of doesn't even make sense for 3 and 4 ranked, but who gives a shit? Let's see what happens,
Yeah, I mean, sure, yeah, all very true. The one that is sticking out to me, and maybe it's just because it hasn't been updated yet. Yeah, I'm very curious when they do these updates because the one that's jumping out immediately to me is should Bruno Ferreira be on this list? I would think. No, I mean, granted, Vittori is not on this list either.
He was
but,
just on the list like 2 months ago. That's
yeah,
the crazy part,
exactly. So I mean, they dropped him off altogether, but Bruno Ferreira does not enter the list. Why? I mean, that does not make any sense to me. Yeah. So I mean, there's that.
I agree with Chad, by the way. His IQ is bad at times. Yeah, a lot of times. But either way, and he's gay. But either way,
wild slanderous accusations coming in from both the chat and from you, Chase.
But I think one that is kind of sticking out to me as somebody that maybe doesn't need to be there is Robert Whitaker. I think that one's an interesting one. I mean, that's kind of riding on a career there, and
yeah, I mean, I would say that maybe 9th is a little bit high. I would say maybe not off altogether, but Yeah, I understand where that sentiment is coming from for sure. Um, I mean, we talked a little bit about him or touched on it at least, but Rainier de Ritter, after retiring on the stool, that is just that is such a blemish. That is just that's a mark that cannot wash off in this sport, in my opinion, man. So no matter what, I mean, I think it was you who just posted in the Discord just today about Rainier de Ritter saying that he acknowledges that his cardio is shot. Like these are not things that bode well for you in the rankings of this sport. So him being anywhere near, I mean, top 10 is just still very crazy to me. I would say if you drop Paulo Costa off, you drop Rainier de Ritter down. I mean, a couple of these guys probably move up. Yeah, I think that there's like, I'm okay with most of this list in a general sense. I think it's just where people are that is a little bit off to me.
I think you're right. Bruno definitely needs to be in there because Marvin was in the rankings not too long ago. The other person that needs to be in this fucking list, and we talked about this guy is going to have a problem getting into the rankings because there's going to be nobody on this list right here. I think Roman Delizde might be an option for Ateba Gautier. I don't think people are
Yeah.
going to take that fight. I mean, they say Jared might, Jared really might, and that's a scary fight for Jared. But I mean, if anybody's not going to die to him, it's Jared because he'll die 4 times and still get up. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, really, if Ateba Gautier is not fighting a ranked guy to get into the rankings, he's going to just fight as many people as they throw in front of him and just annihilate all of them until they have to rank him regardless.
Well, it goes back to the lightweight division. When you look at somebody like Grant Dawson, dude, he's 12-2 in the UFC. He's not ranked. So if Ateba can go 10, I mean, obviously he was on a win streak as well. He was 10-0 in the UFC or whatever it was, and then lost to Bobby Green or whatever. So if Ateba gets 10 random short notice bouts of guys that are welterweight stepping up on short notice, ready to die for $12,000, I mean, he may not get ranked soon, but damn, he'll have a lot of fights in the UFC. He could end up being, if that's the case, of course, you look at somebody like Derek Lewis, just takes fights and they just have to fucking find people for him and he ends up knocking him out. He's just building up a resume of people that are not very good, but he's knocked him out so many times that evidently he's the best at what he does. So if Gautier can continue to knock people out, which of course I'm sure he's going to, um, listen, I don't know. Keeping him out the rankings, it's only going to hurt your promotion. Same with it's actually going to be interesting to see if somebody will take the Mansour Abdul Malik fight rather than Abteba Gautier. Just
True.
saying.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, that's the thing though, is that these guys that are not ranked, like there's only so much that you're going to be able to deny it if none of these guys want the fight or are willing to take the fight. Like they're going to end up getting ranked like regardless. They're just going to jump them in and somebody's just going to drop off. So either take the fight and press your luck or just get ready to just have somebody else hopscotching you if you don't want to meet the challenge, you know?
Or you could take the Paulo Costa route, take the fight, don't actually go through with the fight, continue to ride the rankings off of a performance that is beyond me. I've never seen a good one. Actually, I think he had a good one once against fucking
Luke
the last
Rockhold.
person he fight.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, that was, yeah, against Kopylov.
sure. There you go. Yeah, that was it. That was a pretty good one. He proved me wrong, but either way, 13th ranked. No, 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 no.
Yeah, no,
Where's
definitely
Chris
not.
Curtis these days?
Yeah, it's somewhere complaining, I'm sure. But yeah, looking at the rest of this, I would say probably at this point, even as dominant as he once was, sixth is a little high for Adesanya. It feels. I mean, I think that everybody else underneath, I guess it makes sense that he is still that high, but that's probably going to be changing unless he really seriously course corrects. And then the rest of the top, all aside from Sean Strickland, I think would be the other one that I'd probably drop a little bit. But other than that, I think everything kind of sits pretty well as it should right now. And it's just a matter of if we're actually going to get the champion coming back and being healthy enough to fight, or if we're going to have to get an interim title in this division as well.
I think it's unfortunate that Izzy is sixth. Not that it's high or anything. I think it's honestly decently ranked because I think he probably will beat the guys that are below him. But I think it's unfortunate that he's ranked sixth and Kaio's ranked seventh because I think that's one of the best stand-up matchups that we have in this division right here.
They'll probably
Um,
do it though. I think that that's a fight that makes sense based on everything else. So
I would really like to see them in the stand up. Unfortunately Imavov was the one that got to get the knockout on Izzy, but Kaio probably would have put on a 5 rounder with Izzy. That would have been really, really fun to see.
Yeah, they probably, like I said, I think that still could be in the cards. I mean, we've seen, single rank fights in
Mhm.
plenty of times, so it's not out of the equation. Yeah, I mean, really, I think that if it is going to be Imavov waiting for that shot, then okay. If not, then it has to be Fluffy at this point. If they're going to make Fluffy fight one more time, Fluffy versus Dreekus, I guess, is going to make sense there. No.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, where does Dreekus fall into this? Because Hamza is foot hurt. His foot's a balloon or something. You know, Imavov is getting the belt shot next. Apparently, Dreekus is somehow left out of the equation that he should get an immediate rematch. But I also think it's kind of him playing his part. Like, I don't really want an immediate rematch because he'll probably fuck me up again. Like, not really fuck me up, but win in a boring fashion, just like he did the first fight, because we clearly don't have the answers for it. So what is DDP's Doodoo P? What is he? What's his next one?
Like I said, I think that it makes sense for him versus Fluffy. I am, you hear often from me that like I'm not a fan of the immediate rematch. The immediate rematches to me need to be based on the performance in the fight. When Dreekus and Sean Strickland ran it back, that made sense because it was a very close first fight. A lot of people thought that Sean won that fight. So it makes sense for an immediate rematch in a circumstance like that. In a circumstance like Dreekus versus Hamzat, it was a mauling. It was a one-sided affair for 5 rounds. There was not a single moment that I mean, maybe at the very, very end, you'd have to go with a microscope to find the moments that Dreekus had in that fight. That to me does not scream immediate rematch. So I would be of the mindset that, if Fluffy Hernandez is waiting in the wings for his title shot, if it was going to be Reinier de Ritter before that, and then what happened with Brendan Allen, that takes, maybe Brendan Allen somewhere in that equation, but Reinier de Ritter is out of that. So Fluffy's the next guy aside from Nasruddin Imavov. You give him the former champ, and then he waits for the shot after that.
Yeah, I can kind of dig it. Yeah, I'm just out of everybody. Look at the list right now for this division. Who's the most stock in for you? I'm gonna go ahead and say after this performance, Brendan Allen. I'm excited to see what you got. What you because you look locked in. You look like you're motivated. You see an opportunity and you aren't gonna let this operate. All in, Allen. I am all in on you, buddy.
I know, yeah, you have definitely come around in a big way to Brendan Allen. I certainly also enjoy his fights, and I would like to see, I would like to see him have that stock race. I'm good with that, but if the answer for me is definitely Fluffy, I think that
Uh,
Fluffy he's the guy, bro. I mean, like after that, it pained. We had a category. This is a slight inside baseball, very quick derailing here. Side note, but we had a category that we didn't get to in the year end wrap up. That was like our personal favorite fight endings. And like I didn't have anywhere else to put it. And we didn't end up doing that category on the show. But had we done that category, I had to somewhere in the year-end wrap-up make some reference to Fluffy versus Delitze because that was one of the most thorough trouncings that we have ever seen. I mean, like the things that Fluffy did in that fight. I mean, it was like a drill sergeant, up, down, up, down. I mean, making dictating every motion there. It was such a dominant performance. And then to see that the wrestler, Fluffy Hernandez, also had hands as well. Total package as far as I'm concerned. He's my guy right now.
all right, I like it. I'm excited to see how this shapes out. Not gonna lie.
Same here. A lot going on over there. All right. Well, let's move on to the light heavyweight division. Of course, your current champion, recrowned Alex Pereira. Number one is Yuri Prohashka. Also number one. Number 1/2. Got to call it two. If he's below him, I don't care if it says 1 and 1. It's 1 and
If
2.
they wanted it to be the same, they'd put them next to each other.
Exactly. A slash is in order for that. So 1/2, whatever you want to call it. Number 2, Magomed Ankalaev. Number 3 is Carlos Ulberg. Number 4, Khalil Roundtree. Number 5, Jan Blachowicz. Number 6, Azamat Mirzakhanov. Number 7, Jamal Hill. Number 8, Volkan Uzdemir. Number 9, Dominic Reyes. Number 10, Bogdan Gushkov. Number 11, Alexander Rakic. Number 12, Johnny Walker. Number 13, Nikita Krylov. Number 14, Zhang Minyang. And number 15, Alonzo Menefield.
This one isn't actually too bad. There's some that stick out. I mean, obviously, order is restored. We have our champion back, and Yuri's the number one contender. I mean, it's like we went back in time. You ever seen Hot Tub Time Machine? I hit it last night. Either way, Magomed being the fact that they won't actually list him as number two. I mean, buddy, you just got knocked out by the current champ. You are not ranked number one
And
currently. So
then went off into, like I said earlier in the stream, went off into a hole in the ground, never to be heard from again.
facts. And then I think Carlos Oberg is the rightful second, ranked guy in the division. He's proven himself at this point. I think Khalil Roundtree being fourth, I mean, I know he's only recently lost to the champ and the number one contender, but beating Jamal Hill in your only recent win. Listen, people want to talk about it was 4D chess and it was a dominant victory. Sure. But I don't think you should be fourth. But unfortunately, when you look at five and it's still Jan Blachowicz, you kind of say, well, I guess he has to be four because Azamat doesn't necessarily deserve to be four or any higher, but he is coming off of, an undefeated fucking record and destroying everybody in his way. So honestly, why wouldn't he be ahead of Khalil at this point? That's kind of crazy to think. But the only other one that sticks out beyond these ones, of course, is fucking Nikita Krylov, brother. Get out the rankings. Get out the rankings. He's about to get knocked out by some random dude. Like I don't even know if it's anytime that he is fighting, I will be fading him, and it's nothing against him personally, but I just there was a lot of people who were very confident that he'd beat Dominic Reyes, and all Dominic Reyes had to do was throw a basic boxing combination and just he slept this dude straight on his fucking face. It's not the craziest thing for me to think that he can be beat because I've seen people do it in very easy fashions. So if Nikita Krylov comes out here and he beats somebody that I'm rooting for, sure, give it to him. But I don't think he should be the 13th ranked guy in the
And
world because, go ahead.
so I was just going to say, and also Krylov just got knocked out again after that, right? No, I mean
Yeah, I forget by who.
Vulcan, I believe, did that. Wasn't it
You
Vulcan
are
Ismail?
correct.
Yeah.
Probably. Yep.
So I mean, yeah, I think you're making some big points. Continue.
No, yeah. And it's just crazy, Nikita Krylov being the 13th ranked guy at light heavyweight. I'm just not buying it. I'm just not buying it, especially at light heavyweight, because listen, there's not maybe he has to be in the rankings. Maybe there's not that many of them out there that I could think of off the top of my head that are necessarily going to come in here and make a big impression. But the 13th ranked guy, I'm just not thinking it's Nikita Krylov. I'm
Oh,
just
say
not.
well, and to that same basic line of thinking, I mean, this might be crazy to some people because this guy seems to have a lot of fans, regardless of what the record shows. But Alexander Rakic, he has never been that guy. I mean, I understand this is a division that like it's another one where like the top of the heap, kind of like the cream rises to the top, and then you get like everything else thereafter. But like he has just consistently been losing now, and I've never seen anything out of this guy aside from his earlier days before he was getting himself into the rankings that would lead me to believe that he's going to have some kind of major resurgence. Mirzakhanov took his face off. It is what it is, people. I am like you love it, hate it. I really don't care about this one. Rakic does not deserve to be 11th in the world.
I tell you what it is, and I think it obviously is a misconception because I agree, 11th in the world is pretty crazy. But Rakic, when he went up against Yuri, I saw a good skill set on a fighter. He could kick somebody very, very fast. He has very powerful legs. But unfortunately, when you're fighting Yuri Prohashka, I've come to know kicking him in the legs, that does not make you good. That is because he does not check kicks. That is because he does not care. So it does not make you a god that you can, make, Yuri kind of hobble around because you still got finished at the end of the day. But I was riding on the hope that he looked decent enough against Yuri. But I've learned most people do until the fight is over and they've lost. So
That was going to be my point. You know, Yuri is a great fighter for fighters to go up against to show their skill set in those early rounds, but then you know what's going to happen thereafter. So it's like, yeah, do your best against Yuri. And for exactly what you just outlined is exactly what all fighters like have the opportunity to do with Yuri is like, whatever your best skill set is, go ahead and display it. Then when Yuri ends up somehow pulling the victory out, you can use that to ride and stay around. But then after that, you still need to capitalize thereafter. You have to win your fights thereafter. Rocket's not doing that.
100%.
So, yeah, other than that, I think that I'm kind of in line with you. I guess the other note that I want to make, because I feel like this dude gets faded so hard. Carlos Earlberg, you said it. Carlos Ulberg deserves to be where he is at. I
Mhm.
know that he is not the most exciting guy. City kickboxing, outside, point fighter, whatever you want to say. The guy wins his fights. He has been pretty, pretty definitively good, in my opinion. What do you think about all of those factors as far as him getting a title shot, though?
Well, I think you gotta, it's not necessarily about the title shot, but you just gotta see what he's done recently to the people around him. Alonzo Menafield, he finished him in the first round. Alonzo Menafield went on to not get finished by people after that. Dominic Reyes came out here and was finishing people. He comes out here and finishes Dominic Reyes, like it, it's just how you look at it. I know it's all a perception thing, but like these weigh in my mind. It's like, damn, he's doing it against the people that were doing it against the people, like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and
Over
so
was
I
good.
mean, and that's kind of what I'm getting at too. It's like, yeah, the perception of him being somewhat boring, and granted, he is not the most charismatic guy, so that does not play very well into the like overall perception. But yeah, finishing guys over here, working his way to it, because again, a guy who's not that charismatic, he did not talk his way into anything. This dude went out there and did the job. Sometimes a little bit more point fighty than others, but like you're saying, if he's finishing the guys that he needs to finish, I would say the title shot has to be somewhere in the equation for him. I think this year has to be Carlos Solberg getting a shot.
And if not that, of course, I mean, you get the second best option by going against the former champ and probably one of the greatest fighters that the sport has ever seen, Yuri Prohashka. Can you really be upset? I mean, yes, you can, because it's not your title shot and you can't be a champion. But if you're somebody who, for this example specifically, if you're somebody like Wei Li Zhang, you understand the moment that facing somebody so great as a Yuri Prohashka is bigger than fighting for the belt. This is legacy. This is resume building. If I beat Yuri, who else is there? Like, or if I go against Yuri and have a fun fight, like that should be the ultimate goal, of course. So
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That being said, with this, I mean, I guess the wild card, just to touch on it, what do you think about the potential rumors slash hinting slash et cetera about the champ moving up to heavyweight?
I mean, I've been saying this is the move that should have been done a while ago. I said it way long ago. They should have done Alex and Big Tom, but who am I to say? Now, if Alex wants to step up to heavyweight, that's fine. But we're about to talk about in a second the matchups that I don't want to see with Alex, because there's certain people that have to settle some business. So
All right. Well, yeah. We're still waiting on the announcements for the White House card, so there is potential that that ends up being part of the announcement. I tend to, based on what we've heard and the current shakeup of who is available and who the organization might want to put on that card, I think that there is possibly a potential move up for that exact reason in the upcoming months, weeks, whatever. We That's just a wait and see kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against it. 3 division potential champ. That's kind of crazy to think about.
a lot of, I mean, what can you do in this sport when double champ has already been achieved?
Something that's never been done before.
Yeah, so
I
triple
mean,
champ it is.
yeah, legit triple C. How about that?
True.
All right. Well, that being said, let's move on over to heavyweight. Your current champion at heavyweight, Mr. Tom Aspinall. Number 1 is Cyril Gahn. Number 2, Alexander Volkov. Number 3, Sergey Pavlovich. Number 4, Curtis Blades. Number 5, Waldo Cortez Acosta. Number 6, Jalton Almeida. Number 7, Sergey Spivak. Number 8, Derek Lewis. Number 9, Ante Dalia. Number 10, Marcin Tybura. Number 11, Shamil Gaziv. Number 12, Tai Tuivasa. Number 13, Mick Parkin. Number 14, Walter Walker. And number 15, Taliesin Teixeira.
Well, to start, the reason, I mean, it's all politics, and even if that were the case, I don't even think that applies to this, because Walter Walker, he's better than the 14th ranked heavyweight in the world. He literally could be right behind Derek Lewis if he wanted to. I mean, he is. He did want that, and he does do that. But the
And he's
fact that
fighting
he's not,
coming up. He's fighting Derek Lewis. So I mean, we're gonna find out,
no,
I guess, right?
not Walter.
But what did you not just say, Walter?
Waldo is
Oh,
fighting.
Waldo. Excuse me.
So Walter Walker
Yeah.
needs to be higher than 14th ranked. Yes, he needs to be right behind Derek Lewis. That would be the more accurate thing. I mean, he's coming off 3 back-to-back submission heel hooks, so
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Walter under Mick Parkin. Come on, dude.
I mean, look above McParkin,
Yeah,
dude.
I know that. Well, that was the one that's the really, I think, the biggest glaring. We talk about heavyweight. I mean, heavyweight consistently a division that has been in need of infusion of talent. We have seen time and time again them trying to infuse talent into this division. Taliesin Teixeira being on this list is crazy, but this is we talked about hard drop offs in some of these other divisions. This is about as hard of a drop off as you get. I mean, I would say that probably about Derek Lewis, all of this is a hard drop off there under, except for Walter Walker. I mean, think about it, like what you've got here. Dalia, granted came in very strong, but just got smoked by Waldo. Then you've got Tybura. He's a perennial person in the division, but he's really just on this list because he's been around for a long time and can sometimes get wins, sometimes not. Then you've got Shamil the meme. Then you've got Tuivasa, who definitely does not deserve to be on it. You got Mick Parkin, all right, but he got finished recently too, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm pretty sure.
No, he just went to
He
decision,
went to
or
decision. Okay, well, fair enough.
I think it might have been Shamil.
Did he really? Is that how that went down? Damn. Okay, my bad. I mean, it's been a little while since his fight, but either way, taking a loss, whatever. I'm not mad that McParkin is on the list. I'm just kind of
Maybe it was
illustrating.
Tybura. Maybe it was Tybura.
Again, either way, it's not the detail of that is just more to illustrate like what this like bottom of this list looks like. Walter Walker being an anomaly on the bottom of this list when he should be way higher, and then Taliesin Teixeira just hanging on for whatever reason, a person who we have not heard from in any fashion since his loss to Derek Lewis.
What I think is the biggest story here, and I know people, there's nerds out there who are going to tell me, oh, but he has a win over Waldo Cortez Acosta. How could he be over him? Well, Waldo Cortez Acosta just put on a miraculous year where he fought 5 times, was it? Five?
It was going to be 5. I believe it ended up being 4.
4. And then he had 2 knockouts, I believe is what it was. One being an eye poke right after the champion decided he did not want to fight. And then he came in a week later, got poked in the eye by his buddy, knocked him out. I don't care what anybody says. Waldo needs to be the second ranked heavyweight in the world over Volkov because in Volkov's mind, he shouldn't give a shit about being number 2 ranked because at the end of the day, he's one fight away. He's in the title picture. But he
Anybody at heavyweight is one fight away. It feels like if you're in
true.
the upper part of the rankings.
But he should even understand that the activity and the work that Waldo has put in the cage should get him higher than 5th ranked. It should get him over Sergey, who's been inactive and boring. Should get him over Chris Curtis, who's been inactive and boring and
Curtis
losing.
Blades.
That too, him too, and then and yeah, and Jailton, he can't fight, so it doesn't even matter.
Damn you, DC.
Yeah.
Your meme lives on. Yeah, I mean, as far as like above Derek Lewis on this list, Sergey at 7 is like okay, but I probably would even flip flop him and Derek Lewis at this point. Again, literally at this point, that could always change with Derek Lewis. I mean, Derek Lewis only recently coming back into his own. If you recall, Derek Lewis went on a pretty heavy skid that put him to where he is now, but has been rebuilding. Jailton Almeida, obviously, we know that there's a lot of circumstances with the fight style of Jailton Almeida. Winning fights, sure, didn't win his last one though. They finally pulled the judge's card on that. So maybe we'll see if he ends up. What I've always said about Jailton Almeida is it is criminal that he does not have a striking coach. I mean, I'm sure that he does have one, but he don't have one. You know what I'm saying? He needs to get somebody who's actually going to teach him how to throw his hands. Other than that, yeah, Waldo definitely deserving to be higher. Curtis Blades at this point needs to be freaking far down. I mean, like, it is ridiculous to me that Curtis has stuck around. I like Curtis as a person, but consistently we have seen that he is not worthy of this upper echelon of this division. I'm sorry to say that, but it is what I'm feeling about it. And Sergey Pavlovich as well, getting wins, but we know what he once was versus what he is now.
Well, and then you go back to Curtis Blades, the dude who just lost by split decision almost a year ago to him, more than a year ago, I think, is where's Kunaev? Where's Kunyev? So how is
Yeah.
he not ranked? But Tai Tuivasa hasn't won in 4 years.
True. Yeah. I mean, Kunaev was ranked at one point, if you recall. After that fight, he was ranked, which is
True.
crazy to think about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Taliesin, again, I think that this is another one where just that they haven't updated for whatever reason. So there's probably going to be some shakeups coming in this division pretty soon. Um, there's a bunch of guys in this division trying to make some names for themselves. I wouldn't.
Concrete.
Yeah, I was going to say Concrete would certainly be on there. I'd say Josh Hokett is trying pretty hard. He's making a whole lot of noise. I think.
Denzel Freeman is trying to
Oh,
make a name out there.
well, bro, you're gonna bring up the goat this early into the conversation. I mean, obviously, I mean, we're getting into some heavy territory with the goat. What was it? God, Red Fox is his nickname or whatever, something like that. I just remember because I thought the nickname was Loot Box, so I'm always just going to call him Loot Box.
Nice.
Or Carl Winslow. We know what the deal is.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, there are definitely people who are going to be filling some of these slots up in here. Concrete, definitely, memes aside, one who I think is going to be ranked at some point soon based on how he fights. Really, I say again, take under Derek Lewis and make those guys really work to stay on this list. Tai Tuivasa obviously going to be getting out of here. I would say Concrete versus Mick Parkin, make that happen. Like those kinds of fights. There, it is so the barrier to entry at heavyweight is so low. You can get yourself. We've talked about this plenty of times. 3 wins will get you into the center of that list.
No, I actually think the Mick Parkin one is a very good one because those are two heavyweights who are volume strikers, and I think, we get to see who's going to go longer and who's going to actually pepper in the better shots.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Pepper, unfortunate that Walter Walker never got his fight with Chocolate Peppa Pig.
Nice. Yeah, too bad. Too bad.
Yeah, but then, homie went on to get a nice win in Karate Combat, so all is well with that. Shout out to him. Other than that, the Walter Walker, shoot him way up the list. He's going to be. I mean, really, I think what my big question with Walter Walker is who is going to be able to have the answer for the heel hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So, all right. Well, we will see how all of that shakes out at heavyweight, and of course, what happens with Big Tom once he comes back from his various surgeries.
True.
Let's move on to the ladies over here. All right. These are the women, and these are the women's pound for pound rankings as they stand currently. Your pound for pound best female fighter in the world at the moment is Valentina Shevchenko. Number 2 is Kayla Harrison. Number 3, Zhang Weilei. Number 4, Natalia Silva. Number 5, Mackenzie Dern. Number 6, Manon Fiorot. Number 7, Erin Blanchfield. Number 8, Juliana Pena. Number 9, Alexa Grasso. Number 10, Virna Jandiroba. Number 11, Raquel Pennington. Number 12, Tatiana Suarez. Number 13, Rose Namajunas. Number 14, Yan Xiaonan. Number 15, Macy Barber.
Yo, do they not fucking watch? What is this list? This is like one of the worst things I've ever seen. First off, Mackenzie Dern being underneath Natalia Silva is valid. It's very, very funny though that the champion is just not even at the top. But when I say that being valid, I'm thinking to myself, well, honestly, Manon, Aaron, both of those kind of over Mackenzie Dern, even though she's the champ. I mean, that's pretty crazy to say. But then you go below this, you got Juliana Pena at 8. Give me a break. But then when you look underneath her, Alexa Grasso, I'm like, oh, fuck, she kind of sucks too. But the thing is, Virna needs to be over Juliana and Alexa. Raquel needs to be way at the bottom because she's fucking retired. She's not even fighting. Tatiana Suarez needs to be under Rose Namajunas for sure. Rose needs to be over Virna. And Macy Barber needs to get the fuck off the list. What are you doing here? Are you kidding me right now?
She just had a dominant victory, brother. What are we talking about? No,
I don't know.
I agree. I mean, what she needs to do is nut up and fight Erin Blanchfield like she was goddamn supposed to. I mean, we've said this time and time again. You've harped on this point, and I think very validly. I mean, Macy Barber pulling the Armin Sarukian, the savvy navigation of your career, ing your way into your position. I think that's a ridiculous thing. So based on what you were saying, I mean, Natalia Silva, man, call me a hater, and I'm sure that I am off of this one, but I am not sold yet. I think that what we saw, because Natalia Silva was the one who beat Alexa Grasso, I believe, and it was supposed to be her big, this is Natalia Silva, hear me roar. She was on the main card of a pay-per-view to show the world, and it was a boring fight with a decision win. And I'm like, that to me does not scream number 4 pound for pound in the world, especially when you're behind Zhang Weilei. You mean to tell me that you are next in line after Zhang Weilei? Please give me a break. That does not track to me. I would say that Virna has more of a claim to that than she does, but we know why that is what it is. Yeah, aside from that, I think basically you hit most of the points. I think that yeah, Manon, you said Manon and Aaron need to both be over. Mackenzie Dern, valid. Juliana Pena, I think it's hard to say that, like dropping her off altogether is the right thing to do, because she did just lose the title basically. But then of course everybody thought that Raquel won the fight against her. The activity of Raquel does kind of play into that. We do need to see her come back like that. If she wants to stay anywhere in this equation, she needs to come back and get another solid victory. But I wouldn't go so far as to say drop her off because of how close that fight was. Rose Namajunas being as low as she is does seem kind of crazy, but we kind of know why. And yeah, Yan Janan is just a sad case to me, because I really thought that she could have been more than she ended up becoming.
What the elephant in the room is, unfortunately, excuse me, is that there is a fighter on this list who is in the UFC. I mean, but not on this ranking, and she's clearly, if not two,
I would
number
say this
one.
is pound for pound.
This is yeah, this is pound for pound for sure, and she's going to be fighting at the White House most likely. Amanda Nunez.
Yeah, well, she dropped. I mean, we know why she dropped off. I mean, that's she took herself out of all of the equation, of course.
But I mean, if you rightfully put her back into the equation once she steps back into the cage, I mean, pound for pound, I mean, she's gonna be number two. I mean, I think Valentina holds the number one spot right now just because she's
Ooh.
been doing it in the time off. But Amanda Nunez steps in that cage. I mean, she's pound for pound two at best, you
I
know?
mean, yeah, that's the interesting element of it. Do they even put her back on the pound for pound before the fight just to have her in there, and then what happens after that? I mean, I would say just keep her off and then just slot her in wherever, whether if she wins, she's always been pound for pound best female fighter of all time to me. So I mean, I love Valentina. I think Valentina is definitely right, inches behind her, but she is behind her. So, go in there, get the win over Kayla Harrison. I think it's a no brainer. She is, cemented as the pound for pound best of all time.
True. I mean, and I guess we really did need to point that out. This is Amanda Nunez we're talking about.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So, but yeah, other than that, I think that mostly everything else, aside from what we mentioned, kind of tracks. Maybe Tatiana Suarez probably dropping down a little bit more would make sense eventually. I mean, Tatiana Suarez, another case that's in the same sort of line of thinking as Yan Jianan, and somebody who I thought had a lot more potential and did not live up to it when the rubber hit the road, so to speak.
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think we hit most of the major points on the pound for pound, unless you got anything else.
No, I think that's good.
All right. Well, then let's move on to the divisions. Of course, we have women's straw weight, and your current champion, as crazy as it may seem, is Mackenzie Dern. Number 1 is Zhang Weilei. Number 2, Tatiana Suarez. Number 3, Virna Jandiroba. Number 4, Yan Xiaonan. Number 5, Amanda Lemos. Number 6, Lupi Godinez. Number 7, Yasmin Lucindo. Number 8, Tabitha Ricci. Number 9, Jessica Andrade. Number 10, Jillian Robertson. Number 11, Amanda Hebos. Number 12, Fatima Klein. Number 13, Denise Gomes. Number 14, Angela Hill. And number 15, Alexia Thainara.
This list is interesting. While there's not much that I would change, there are some things that I will go ahead and comment about. Of course, we have the champion, Mackenzie Dern. If you want to say Wei Lee's going to go ahead and get that belt back instantly, sure, we can believe that until we see it happen. But for now, we don't know what Zhang Wei Lei is going to do. Maybe she takes some time off. Who knows? Tatiana Suarez being number two, I mean, if that means anything in the grand scheme that she's going to get a fight for the belt soon, I think she probably will beat Mackenzie Dern. I think that is a very valid assumption. Tatiana Suarez is fine. You know, Mackenzie Dern is not somebody that I think is as great. She's somebody who's very beatable. And Tatiana Suarez, again, if she was touted to beat Zhang Weilei, she must be pretty damn good. Is all that I will say. When you come to Virna, of course, Virna beats her. I don't know how we fucking don't get this through our heads. She's the champ right now. Virna is the fucking champ right now. But either way, being third ranked, kind of valid, sure. Yan Shou now, we don't even worry about her anymore. She's been there, done that. We know she's gonna get there and get knocked down. She's gonna get back up and get knocked down. I'm whatever, done with it. The one that really stands out the most disrespectful one, Fatima Klein, clearly.
Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, number 12 ranked is ridiculous coming off of the, two finishes and then a war against Angela Hill, who's, again, bona fide gatekeeper. Crazy to think that she's not higher than somebody like Amanda Ribas, who got finished earlier in the year by somebody who has never got an official TKO in Tabitha Ricci. So pretty crazy. Lupe Udinez, I think, is a very good shout for somebody decently ranked. Sixth is fine. I mean, under Amanda Lemos kind of sucks. Even though Amanda Lemos was supposed to fight, we probably would have got a good gauge of where she was supposed to be ranked, but, she's got herpes and whatever. So Jessica Andrade still ranked. Crazy. Yasmin Lucindo. All right, this one. Now, some of these are just thrown in here like a dartboard. Denise Gomes is another one that you just threw in there. Like, I don't know.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
really, that was my biggest point, is that, like, what I see, and I'm sure that this note is going to come up again with the other divisions, is just that we need more quality women fighters, period. I hate to say that. I know the perception out there for a lot of fans, women's fights are bathroom breaks, et cetera, et cetera. I hear what you are saying with that. I understand the criticisms. You have very talented fighters sprinkled throughout this, I would say, but really the depth is the problem. Again, I'm sure that that's going to come up several times throughout this, but, like, I mean, I'm already looking over to the next list and I'm like, Casey O'Neill, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like things like that. So, like, my point is that really, what you if you are a female fighter right now, what you should be thinking to yourself is that there are prime opportunities to put your name directly into the middle of this list pretty handily. I mean, you come in here again, like you just said, a win over Denise Gomes, absolutely within your reach as a female fighter in this division. There's several that I could name in that same ballpark. So, as far as changes that I would say to this, I'd say that up until probably Lupe, I'd probably swap Lupe and Lemos. But up until that point, that all is okay. Again, Yan Jianan, also another person that probably is going to end up dropping down unless she can really turn the ship around. I agree with what you said about Tatiana Suarez probably having an opportunity to beat Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern definitely beatable by a couple of the women on this list, as you had mentioned. So all of that's tracking. Really, I think that's going to be the biggest question, is if Zhang Weilei does come back and just walk her way back into the belt, what happens thereafter? And I think that is a likely scenario. So, I'd say that Tatiana Suarez beating Mackenzie Dern as the loser of that fight, fine, whatever. Lemos coming back after she clears up her medical issues or whatever, fine. Lupe possibly moving up at some point, maybe, but it's a little bit of a maybe because she's been a little spotty. And then as you drop down, Tabitha Ricci coming off of a victory, a finish victory that does say something, but I've also not been super sold on her either. The loss to Yan Jianan sticks out in my mind. And then, like Jessica Andrade is just hanging on to the list because she's just still around, kind of thing. I would like to see Julian Robertson move up. How about that? There's a positive.
There's a good one. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and then of course Fatima Klein we talked about. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Fatima Klein's going to be top 5 this year, I would say.
I'd like Jillian Robertson to fight in Canada because I'm pretty sure she had the Canadian card and then fought the week after in the Apex.
Yeah, that was very weird. I think we mentioned that on the show at the time. Yeah, very strange. She's a dual citizen kind of deal. She represents Florida, so obviously a little hometown representation for your boy with that. But she is also Canadian, so yeah, get her that Canadian love out there. They are big supporters of their fighters.
Hell yeah.
So, but other than that, I mean, Fatima Klein, top 5 makes sense. And then, we'll just have to see what happens with Dern. It would be very surprising if Dern holds on to the belt for defense.
I'll bring it up now because I'm not sure of the weight classes between these women, but there are a couple that I'm looking forward to. We have Chanel and Farrow from the Contender Series. They put on that absolute banger. I don't know their fucking first names or last names. I just know that those are the two that I call them by. But they put on some good performances, and I'm very excited to see them. Actually, one we didn't actually note that I think is key that we bring up: Alexia Thayonara. She's going to be
Yes.
very good. She's going to be very good.
Somebody, it's funny that you say that. Somebody had asked about her on one of the recent watch alongs that I had done, and I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, I don't see any reason why she doesn't move up consistently. She's got a pretty solid set of skills. Her base skills are very strong. She's got a personality as well. So, I mean, she's going to be able to sell her fights pretty handily as well. Yeah, I don't see any reason why that isn't the case. I mean, her last fight was a little bit closer than her fight with Molly McCann, if I'm not mistaken, but still a win. So sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like that one.
All right. Yeah, but I mean, all aside from that, again, just whatever happens at the top, it would be nice to see Virna get another shot, I would say, and that's we'll see what happens with Jean coming back.
True.
All right, moving on to women's flyweight. Your champion, of course, Valentina Shevchenko. Number 1, Menon Furo. Number 2, Natalia Silva. Number 3, Erin Blanchfield. Number 3,
Number three.
double number 3 slash number 4, Alexa Grasso. Number 5, Macy Barber. Number 6, Rose Namajunas. Number 7, Jasmine Jazdavicius. Number 8, Tracy Cortez. Number 9, Karini Silva. Number 9 again, slash number 10, Miranda Maverick. Number 11, Casey O'Neill. Number 12, Wang Tong. Number 13, Eduardo Mora. Number 14, JJ Aldrich. And number 15, Gabriela Fernandez.
This one is very interesting because while Shevchenko is the champion and she's going to be a very dominant champion because none of these girls have the ability to have every game plan available. I mean, Shevchenko is just, she has an answer for everything. And whatever style you think she's going to use, she's going to use something different and she's going to counter what you have. I mean, she's just absolutely, unstoppable right now. But when you look at Manon, I mean, she just held her position at number 1 very convincingly by knocking out Jasmine in the first round. I mean, that's crazy to me. I mean, she not only did she hold her position? I mean, for a woman to get a knockout, I mean, she did it. She called it her, whatever you want to say. Natalia Silva, a very good case for a number 2 ranked woman. I mean, people are saying she gets the opportunity next. Shevchenko, we're going to see what she's going to do after, she just defended her belt against Wei Li. Is Natalia Silva going to be the one to get the shot? I think she would lose to what we see Shevchenko as now. I think Shevchenko would just catch her in too many traps. I think Natalia Silva would try to move around way too much in circle, and Shevchenko is just going to stand there and wait for her to actually come in and make the move, and she's going to counter it. Erin Blanchfield coming in off of a finish to Tracy Cortez is absolutely amazing. The fact that they tried to double tie her rank with Alexa Grasso is fucking ridiculous. Alexa Grasso fucking sucks right now. Like, what are we talking about? And same thing with Macy Barber. I mean, these ranks are way too fucking close for somebody that did not want to fight Erin Blanchfield, and then for Erin Blanchfield to shortly after come and submit somebody who's, I mean, decently touted at the time. We know now that she's just a pretty girl, whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, she beat her. She submitted her. Rose Namajunas, I still think I'm not the biggest Rose fan. You guys will probably find clips of me shitting on her 24/7, but I think still wrong for her not to be higher than Alexa Grasso. That's pretty criminal. The one that is most interesting, not Karini Silva, because we again don't care about her. Miranda Maverick getting a +1 up here in the boosted ranks. I don't know what that's about, but listen, I've been high on her. I think in her last performance, I was rooting for her to win, and she got hurt, and she finished up. I think she tore her ACL or meniscus, something like that in the fight. She's
She,
very good.
she's also coming off of maternity, I believe. She just had a baby.
True. Fair. I don't know how that exactly worked because she was not pregnant at any time that we saw her.
We
So
commented on that, how weird that was, that like she just all of a sudden was pregnant, had a baby, and then it just sort of came out of nowhere. Very
yes,
weird. She's like fighting in between all of that. Very strange.
yes. So either way, Miranda Maverick is somebody that I'm very, very interested to keep my eye on because I've always thought that she's got the size, she's got the I don't know, she's got that tomboy vibe to her. I think she's a good representation of what a female champion could be. Shevchenko, that's time of the old. She's an older era of kind of fighter. She's a very mixed martial artist type of person. I think Miranda Maverick could have her time as the champion. I think she would represent the belt very, very well.
I'm not disagreeing with the sentiment. It's just hard to like based on the record. I'm like she's going to need to jump pretty heavily to make that happen. Even if she has been having some successes, it's still going to take a little bit of doing. Yeah, what I'm seeing sticking out on here. I mean, you talked about Shevchenko. What I say about Shevchenko is, if you recall what I said about Piotr Jan having like the antidote, to Marab, Shevchenko is a person that no one has that for. She like her skill set is one that is like tried true and just does not seem to be beatable. Obviously Alexa Grasso caught her. We kind of know at this point that does appear to be somewhat fluky, but that's obviously with the benefit of time on our side. So that's kind of where I disagree a little bit on Alexa Grasso. I mean, you can't deny the fact that she did beat one of the greatest women fighters of all time, but what you're seeing currently is, makes it a lot more questionable. I do like that Aaron Blanchfield is over her. I agree that it is a little ridiculous that they gave them the dual rank for no discernible reason. I don't really get that. But yeah, I mean, Macy Barber being as high based on what we had just talked about is a little bit crazy with her. Savvy navigation is something that I don't think deserves to be rewarded as highly as it is with her. Aside from that, yeah, Tracy Cortez being as high as she is also does not track for me. We've said, I mean, Tracy skating by with some okay decision wins does not really move the needle for me. I was kind of dogging on Casey O'Neill a minute ago. I do think that she's a little bit better than I was maybe giving her credit for in the way that I presented that. But still, I'm going to need to see her more active, to be perfectly honest. When was the last time Casey O'Neill fought? In freaking Australia? I mean, like, we gotta see you in there more. Actually, the one that sticks out on that, well, two. One, Eduardo Mora does not deserve to be on this list, in my opinion. I know that you might have alternative feelings about that. I have never been sold on Eduardo Mora. I think that she is cruising to not be on this list. Same with JJ Aldrich. Her time, she had her opportunity to be higher on this list. She is not cut from that cloth. So it is what it is. The one that is sticking out to me as interesting about all of this makeup is actually number 15, Gabriela Fernandez. Had that big upset win over Wang Tong. Wang Tong, of course, number 12, right? That is her, yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
so I
don't know
mean,
how that works.
yeah, I have no idea why she is number 15 when Wang Tong. I mean, granted, Wang Tong came back and got a win, but she didn't get a finish in her most recent fight. So Gabriela Fernandez, I think, is a little bit of a dark horse. Now, granted, she's also inactive, and I don't really know why, but that would be one that I think could potentially have a little bit of momentum if she actually uses it. So get back in there and fight.
Yeah, I didn't even know who Casey O'Neill was until you said back in Australia. She's the girl that did the ray gun dance.
She is. She is the dark-haired Australian lass.
I wouldn't mind seeing her again. That would be nice.
Yeah,
So,
I'm certainly not a fan. But I guess she's a fine fighter. Like I said, I think I was being a little bit harsh just for the sake of illustration. But my point is that yeah, I mean, we need to see more of some of these people. Fernandez is the same way. O'Neill. Those are the two that really stick out when it comes to that. But again, this is another division where you've got a couple of people who I don't think. I think that there are potentially fighters coming into the sport that could easily dethrone a couple of these people for rankings that they currently have.
yeah, I can tell you one right now, and I don't know if it's this weight class, but one that I've been sitting on for a second is Crispy Carly Judice. She is
Yo,
coming for the rankings with less than, listen, the things that she's about to do, it's only going to be rivaled to Brock Lesnar and Alex Pereira. She's coming in here with less than 9 pro bouts and going to get a title fight. I mean, this is this is where we're talking. I'm telling you.
bold predictions, but I like it. I mean, she's certainly living up to it currently. So she's on a collision course right now in a good way. The other one that I wanted to at least note off the contender series. What about the little ring girl? The
Mm.
one who used to be a ring girl and then now transitioned. She had a pretty good performance in there. I think she ended up losing that fight, but it was another one where they gave contracts to both fighters.
I can't remember that one specifically, but that's a good shout. I'm excited to see all these contender series women because they do normally ball out.
Yeah, because if you recall, we had 4 women fighters on the Contender Series, 2 women's fights. All 4 women got contracts.
Hey, they understand the assignment. I've preached it before.
Yeah, and it really speaking to what I've been talking about, like, we need more higher quality women fighters to be dropping some of these people off that don't necessarily belong. So I'm still with it.
Yes.
Um, yeah, so I guess that's about it for this division. I mean, obviously Valentina's sitting at top until she decides to no longer sit at top. So you got anything else?
No, I think she's going to sit at the top until she has 16 rubies. I mean, there's a whole other side of that belt, guys. I don't know if you noticed.
I was going to say, she's got to start the new belt. She's got to, just hang that one up in the shadow box and start on the next one.
100%.
All right. Well, then to round this thing out tonight, we are looking at women's bantamweight. Of course, your champion at women's bantamweight is Kayla Harrison. Number 1, Juliana Pena. Number 2, Raquel Pennington. Number 3, Norma Dumont. Number 4, Ketlin Vieira. Number 5, Yana Santos. Number 6, Irene Aldana. Number 7, Macy Chiasson. Number 8, Eileen Perez. Number 9, Carol Hosa. Number 10, Jacqueline Cavalcante. Number 11, Myra Bueno Silva. Number 12, Nora Cornol. Number 13, Misha Tate. Number 14, Jocelyn Edwards. And number 15, Luana Santos.
This one, I mean, once you look at the list, I mean, there's two things that you have to understand. The champion is currently Kayla Harrison. Nobody on this list, I think, beats her. Now, the second part of this equation is that Kayla Harrison is defending her belt against Amanda Nunez. If Amanda Nunez wins, nobody on this list beats her, and that's even if she defends the belt again. Who knows? She might just like up and retire. Like, well, I did
Yeah.
it again. I did
Well,
it again,
the
guys.
you just come back, get the belt, and retire.
So I don't know how all it's going to shape out after that, but I will say, um, uh, you know, there's not many people on this list that I got stock in. I mean, Norma Dumont is younger, but I don't know if she matches up well with the size. I mean, a lot of these people, they just don't have the size that I think. I know we're all in the same weight class here, but Kayla Harris and Amanda Nunez, the size is different between them and fucking what's her name, Macy Chiasson. Like they're different. It's so when it comes to people like that, I think Norma Dumont matches up better. But I don't think that great. Yana Santos, again, I've preached that she is very, very good. When I first saw her, I said, damn, this is a good ass prospect. And then I found out she's 40 fucking years old. So I don't think much is in the bag for her. But she, again, very, very good coming off of a win. Irene Aldana, who cares? I think Mexican privilege, maybe, right? Either way, why is she up here?
No, being tough. She's one of my favorite women fighters, I have to say, but it's really mostly because she's just willing to walk face first into fire.
Eileen Perez hasn't fought since the second UFC card of this of the past year, and that was against Carol Rosa.
Yeah.
So
I was
crazy
going to say,
enough.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because it's like, Eileen Perez, a person who, another one that's seemingly squandering the potential to surge. I mean, she's coming off of a pretty good little win streak that she'd been on. She's missed twerking. She's got a little bit of a buzz around her, and then just fucks off for the entire year.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, if she would have just been active, at least have one more fight, she could be dating Alex Pereira right
now. Potentially true. Yeah. So, I mean, this is it's kind of a traditionally weak division, I would say, but right now it's kind of really bad, it would seem. Obviously, the champ is, pretty dominant at the moment. You just touched on, of course, Amanda Nunes coming back, and that's going to shake that up at the top. But then what is there below the top is the big question. You kind of dogging a little bit on Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington. I understand the mindset of that. I think that Raquel Pennington needs to come back, and I think that she needs to fight down. That's really what I think is appropriate at this point. Even if people thought that she might have won that fight, come back, get your activity back up. Jacqueline Cavalcante, someone who I have never been sold on. Perfect fight. I mean, it's crazy, you'd think, because 2-10, but in this division, it's not that crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, I would say that something like that, you can really pick any others that would make Macy Chiasson, who's been on such a terrible, she looks so bad lately. Someone who I had a lot more stock in. She, major drop. I think I mentioned her on the stock drop list on the last episode.
I mean,
Um,
look at my MBS. I mean,
oh,
she hasn't won since her title fucking opportunity.
exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a bunch of opportunities for Raquel Pennington to come back and remind people if she actually is that person. Everybody kind of forgets that her even winning the belt in the first place was a little bit ridiculous. So come back and prove it is really what this again. The criticisms that I have are you can take them as, oh, you're being a hater, but really what they should be saying is there are massive opportunities in this division right now. So go out there and make a name for yourself in a very real way. Someone else who I've never been really too sold on, Jocelyn Edwards, at 14 right now. I mean, she has potential to come back here and make this her division if she really wants to, if she's really about it like that. I mean, you've been a lot more high on her than I have. Go and prove it.
Yeah, Jocelyn's pretty good, man. I do like her. She's fun. I think another person that I would be remiss if I didn't bring up in this segment, of course, is Luana Santos. I'm not necessarily too sold on her anymore, especially at bantamweight. I mean, she's gonna have to really do some work because uh, I look at 14th ranked at Jocelyn Edwards. Just speaking about her, I mean, she would beat Luana Santos in my opinion. I mean, this is listen. Jocelyn Edwards is not somebody to sleep on. I know she lost to Eileen Perez, but it was a split decision and she snuck her backstage before the fight. So who really won the war, girl? She left you with a black eye before the fight. Like, fuck you talking about?
Like I said, I'm still skeptical, but she did look a lot better in her previous or her last performance rather. So, starting to come around a little bit. I'm starting to thaw a little bit on that one. You talked a little about Irene Aldana. As I said, she's one of my favorite women fighters because she is so tough, but she needs to get a goddamn win. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. You can be as tough as you want, but as I have said, Felicia Spencer syndrome is very real. You cannot be one tough punching bag. You got to go out there and actually win.
It's
So.
crazy how many people are on here that need a win and they're ranked fucking fighters. Irina Aldana is the one that you said. Macy Chiasson needs a fucking win. Carol Rosa, not necessarily in the position to need a win, but girl, you should probably do so. You got MBS, needs a fucking win. Has Misha Tate fought recently? This is needing a get the out the rankings type thing. I don't know. This is crazy.
Yeah, well, I think she won her fight before last, but then she lost her last one. I think her last one was to Carol Hosa, I believe. I think that, right? Wasn't that where Carol Hosa she had a poor performance the fight before, and then she came back, I think, looking better.
Nice.
I want to say. Um, yeah, there's a couple in here with that, like
Nora
that.
Cornell
Oh,
is who she actually fought.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, then there you go. I mean, Nora Cornell, another one who's, kind of hot and cold, it would seem sometimes. Yeah, again, it all speaks to the depth of this division. I mean, it's open season for a lot of these people. Again, like you said, Yana Santos is, if she's not 40, she's damn well pushing it. And
Yeah.
she's ranked fifth in this division. There is a lot of opportunity to be had if you are fighting in the bigger weight as a woman. So, get some wins. You're right, because you're right. I mean, a lot of this. I mean, Ketlin Vieira, someone who the current champ beat to get to where she is now. I mean, someone who kind of sticks around, but like if she's the fourth ranked, if she is the fourth best in it, and Norma Dumont is above that, there are opportunities to be had. Is what I'm saying here.
100%. Yeah, the bantamweight division, it's always there's always been rooms for opportunity. I mean, it is one of the newer divisions, like the newest in terms of whatever we're seeing here. So we just got to get our women to come around to. I don't know. You would think it's only 10 pounds more than 25, and 135 pounds is not a ginormous woman. Like it's just crazy to think that the bantamweight division is regarded as like the bigger women when it's just 10 pounds more. This is the same thing as bantamweight and flyweight men. Like so it's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, but then you have people like Macy Chiasson who have because I was going to say, oh well, I mean, obviously the height can affect that as well. But then you got a person like Macy Chiasson who is tall for the division and has not been doing great lately. So
Mhm.
it is just one of those deals at this weight. So hopefully we see some movement here. But obviously, all eyes, really. I mean, like it's sad to say. Again, I'm not even trying to be a hater, but it's sad to say that with all of what we just went over with 1 through 15, everybody's eyes are just at the top, and that's about it.
True.
So,
100%.
and that is about it when it comes to your rankings for the current makeup of the UFC. I mean, the Ultimate Fighting Championship is what it is currently, and we have went through every division. So now you've gotten your primer. you are ready to go into the new year based on what we have given you from this. And hopefully we will see some interesting matchups and some shakeups going on. People making those wins happen, especially with the ladies that we just talked about. A lot of opportunity to be had this year in 2026. Anything else, Chase?
No, I think we did a really good job. I like this episode. Again, second year in a row, we got to do some sort of end of the year kind of a recap and then a beginning of the year look into what we have going. So this is good. I love to break it down a little bit to see what we may or may not be potentially right about.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, again, a little, I mean, not even really that short compared to our normal episodes, about on time. So, thank you guys very much for hanging out with us for this one. Appreciate you guys being here as always. On the channel currently is a video about Ilya Taporia and his allegations being levied against him by his future ex-wife. Check that out if you are interested in the subject. Give it a like if you enjoy it. Leave a comment about that one. Watch alongs happening all the time. We hopefully are going to be doing a Friday show as well. So, come and hang out with your boys again on Friday if we end up making that happen. Anything else? Yeah.
Well, I think it is time for us to go ahead and spoil what our next MMA on film is going to be.
Why not?
We have started watching, and we need you guys to catch up with us. And it may not be what you guys have been requesting, but we need to get this one out the way because there are soon come a second part to what we are going to review. So what we are reviewing currently and what we are going to get to hopefully this week, if not this week, next week, we are reviewing Roadhouse 2024, and this is going to be a fun one. So go ahead. Anything you got to say?
Oh no, I was gonna hope. I'm saying I'm hoping that we get this one out. Either this week or next. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, hopefully this week. I'd like to make that happen this week. So
No, absolutely.
yeah, MMA on film coming back. Roadhouse 2024 is the movie. Get your watches in now because you know that me and Chase go pretty in depth on our MMA on film reviews. So we are going to have a lot to say about that. You can find me at youtube.com/@Yamashow, Yamashow on Twitter and Instagram and on Facebook as well. Chase, where can they find you?
They can find me on youtube.com having a great time on this podcast every Monday, sometimes Friday, and occasionally when we do MMA on film one last time, Roadhouse 2024. We will be reviewing that on this channel, youtube.com/@CP Small. So don't miss it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Thank you for all of the support that you showed us in 2025 and that you continue to show us in 2026. We will be back next Monday, of course, for last week's fights. Again, until then, until Friday or until the next time that we see you, have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week. And as always, fight on.